Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Cheltenham Festival. It is time to get this Rachael Heyhoe Flint Trophy match between Western Storm and Sunrisers underway at last. We have had all sorts of rain and frustration, but thankfully we now have some cricket. We had a half an hour delay on top of the original start time because there was some concern over the College Square where the Sunrisers opening bowler Kate Kopak is currently preparing to bowl. I can tell you the Sunrisers have won the toss. It is a 22 overs a side game, and alongside me is Claire Jenkins. Hello, Claire.
Good afternoon. Oh, we've got some play. Oh,
have.
It's so exciting. We've been watching the covers get very wet, and so have the seagulls. They've been enjoying their little waggle about with their feet on the covers. And we're about to get underway. So we're still under sort of stormy skies here, really. We're hoping that it's not coming from where it's been the rest of the day, because I'm looking over and it's pretty dark over Bill's Mothers, let me tell you. So we're going to get some play, and we're stood side on, so we're going to get a good view as the bowler comes in and gives it some what's it. And that's just played for. I think that's a kadunk there. Do you think that was a kadunk?
I don't know. I just quite enjoyed giving it some what's it first ball. So let's give the two teams out because
it's a good thing to do.
Well, it is a good thing to do. We also have some news already, which you will see on your screen, because Danny Gibson is back and opening the batting for Western Storm in this reduced overs game.
Kopak comes in, and that's defended but pushed out as well to the leg side, and there's a quick single on offer there. 1 to the score.
So instead of Emma Corney, who has been in the runs of late at the top of the order in the Rachael Heyhoe Flint Trophy, but effectively this might as well be a Charlotte Edwards Cup match given that it's only 22 overs. So Gibson opening the batting with Griffiths, Emma Corney, Sophie Luff, Fran Wilson, Neve Holland, Katie Jones plays. So another Gloucestershire player getting a game on what is, I guess, effectively her home ground. Gloucestershire's women play a lot of their games here at Cheltenham. Sophia Smale, Lauren Filer back from her tremendous exploits in the Women's Ashes. Chloe Skelton, who took a 5 for here last year, and Phoebe Graham on loan. Gibson
plays at the leg side, backward of square, and that's going to the boundary. There's 4 runs. First boundary then to Danny Gibson, also back from England duty. Very
Indeed.
Exciting, both of them. I mean, how brilliant is that for Western Storm to have those two players in key roles, really, in those Ashes squads?
Should also mention, of course, as part of our team here today, I don't think I said my name's Ed Seaborn, in case you didn't know already, Claire Jenkins, and we've also got Carol Camino for the first time on the Western Storm live stream, so very much looking forward to hearing from her in, I think we've decided, around about 7 overs time.
Yeah, Danny Gibson plays that through third, and there is a fielder down at the boundary, and they get through for another run, and the score goes on to 6 without loss. Western Storm. Sunrisers in the field, and they're in their usual black with their nice trimmings.
They are, and in case you're wondering if I have to dash off at any point today, I'm also doing the PA. I'm so excited about this.
Is a man who can multitask. As that's just played down, there is no run at that stage. Yes, a multitasking man, Ned.
Yes,
how involved are you?
It's not very usual, and I'm sure I'm going to make all sorts of mistakes because of the fact that I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Nice little delivery there from.
Oh, a little tickle at that.
It was
almost got. It's keeping Amara interested in there.
It was a tempter.
It was. Kate Kopak coming in from the impressive school end. Comes forward and plays that to the cover, and they get through for an easy single there. Warming up the keeper again. Griffiths does the tidying up. Just another 1 to the total. 7 without loss.
Yeah, it's still fairly gloomy, but hopefully we've seen the back of this rain. It's still not exactly looking great over where the weather's coming from, which, if you've been following the Cheltenham Festival at all, you probably have heard on the commentary at various stages that the weather usually comes from kind of behind the grand pavilion. But today, it's in fact coming from the opposite direction. It's coming from the exact opposite direction from yesterday, and it's coming from over towards Cleve Hill.
Right, yes, we're looking over at Cleve Hill, and it's looking a bit dark over there. So we've got some. Eva Gray. There we are. We can hear from we can hear from the multitasking Ed, Eva Gray.
So, seen from both ends, I guess there would have been maybe a bit of a temptation to go with a bit of spin, given that we're effectively in a T20. But yes, but
put the pressure on.
I guess it's seam bowling conditions. Oh, playing a miss. First ball. Eva Gray is an experienced new ball bowler. Of course, she used to play for South East Stars and has come over to the Sunrisers and added some extra experience to that bowling attack, which I think is one of the reasons why the Sunrisers have had a much better season than in previous years. They did the double over the Southern Vipers. So they'll have plenty of confidence going into this game. This is effectively a basement battle as things stand.
We shouldn't gloat over Sunrisers, over Vipers being beaten though, but you know, it's hard not to.
Tucked into the leg side for a quick single. The ball is just ricocheted off Griffith, so they won't be able to get... Well, they will be able to, but they won't take an overthrow. No. Otherwise, I think there would be a fair amount of gesticulation and controversy.
Yeah, I think Danny would be on them if
just conscious, of course, I've not given you the Sunrisers side yet, so I shall try and get
in
that
between
in
your jobs
at the end of this delivery. Oh, that looks pretty close. Shout for leg before wicket is turned down. I say it looks pretty close. I've forgotten, of course, that we are at extra cover. So that might have been one of the reasons why it looked fairly close. We'll get a second look here. Well, probably going down leg side, but it wasn't the worst shout. I'd certainly have been up for it if I were bowling.
Yeah, early on.
But then I don't think I would have been able to direct it towards the stumps as accurately as that. So... with that caveat in place.
Not while you're doing announcing and the commentary.
It's just pulled away into the gap into the leg side, out towards deep mid-wicket. The outfield is going to be slower because of the rain, but it's still pretty fast down towards that part of the ground, down the hill. A couple of runs collected. So Sunrisers then, Grace Scrivens and Cordelia Griffith provide a powerful opening combination as far as they're concerned. Jodie Grucock, Danae van Niekerk, magnificent to see her in action. Maddie Villiers also. There's a lot of experience in this Sunriser side. Amara Carr behind the stumps as well. It's just come off pad, I think, away down fine. They'll be able to collect two more. Florence Miller, who plays for Northamptonshire county-wise. Eva Gray, who we've seen. Amu Surin Kumar, who's one of the academy graduates for
homegrown
the Sunrisers. Kate Kopak, who we saw bowling the first over. And Abtaha Maqsood. Will she get a bit of grip out of a slightly damp surface?
Fresh from captaining Scotland.
Oh, that's close again. Sunrisers like this one a lot more, but again, Ant Harris has not answered in the affirmative. It is a leg by, so no inside edge involved. Well, again, it's another one of those. Leg stump is the stump in question, but she was struck, I think, on the back pad there. One of those that perhaps could have gone either way. Also, I did just notice in time, as I was reading out the announcement for the umpires, that it was written down that it was Anna Harris out there. And it was only just as I was about to read out Anna Harris that I realised that the script said Anna Harris.
Umpire Ant as opposed to umpire Anna. End of the over. 13 without loss.
And of course, speaking of umpires, I finally got the chance to meet umpire Sue.
Oh, how lucky are you?
Exactly. This is far, far better than doing the PA announcements as far as pleasures go.
We'll get a longer chat later, perhaps. Kopak coming in from the college end. And that's played lustily to mid-on. And they're going to burgle a run there. Oh, there's a shot at the stumps. Oh, they got through there. That was close one, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, that would have been gone easily with a hit. And she actually, she took her time, actually, did Surin Kumar up there. And actually, she did well to take her time. Unfortunately, she just missed the target.
Yeah, we're sorry, Don, we can't tell how close that was. Ooh, exciting. Griffiths to face. Plays that off her legs nicely. Coming down towards the boundary. That's going to be another 4. Yep, that's another 4. Another 4 to the boundary for Western Storm. Score moves on to 18 without loss.
Yeah, another delivery which is just a little too leg-side-ish. They're obviously not wanting to give too much width outside the off-stump, although there is protection out at deep cover. But a couple of balls from Kopak have just straight down that leg side, and Storm have taken advantage.
Nice flick from Alex Griffiths there. Kopak, right arm over. Griffiths goes to play at that and then decides against it as it goes outside the off.
Of course, this is the last round before the 100 begins, so in some ways I think quite a lot of these players who are heading off to that 100 competition won't be too disappointed that they're getting a bit of short form practice in ahead of it.
Yep, I think they'll be just glad to get out, particularly Sunrisers who've missed the last couple of games because of rain, unfortunately, so they'll be glad to get out, as you say, before the 100. Kopak coming in. Oh, and that's a refusal. I don't have any points for refusal, as Joe Ibbotson just signals as dead ball.
I think it's actually one thing which is, I mean, in terms of mitigating circumstances for the bowlers, I mean, this will be the first time that I would imagine the vast majority of these Sunrisers bowlers have bowled at Cheltenham, and there is the slope to contend with. There's also the fact that you're running in off a square, which is slightly bizarre.
Look. Griffiths comes forward but can only defend that, and there is no run.
Because we've got two squares. We've got the square which is used for the festival that we're playing on. We're playing on the pitch which is closest to the pavilion / Thurleston Road side of the ground, if you know Cheltenham. So a shorter boundary towards where we are and a longer one down the hill. But
so
they run in off the
squares.
college square, which is where the school play.
Very interesting. Griffiths comes forward, plays that to the covers, but again there's no run. There's a bit of a shy at the stumps there. Woo.
It's testing out Maddie Villiers.
Yes, Maddie Villiers. Stop that. She did. It's one of the top fielders, I think, in the regional game.
Yes, well, one to the other, really, isn't it? With Griffith throwing the ball and Villiers taking it. Two of the finest fielders that you'll see about.
As Grace Scrivens moves to square leg with the umpire at our end. Go back in. Griffiths has a think about that. Decides against that again.
She's pulled that over back really well, hasn't she?
Yes. So at the end of the over, 18 for no loss, our Western Storm, who are batting in this Rachael Heyhoe Flint. Well, it would be 50 overs, but we're down to 23 today. 22 even. They're just knocking it off all the time.
Obviously, my PA announcement of the fact twice wasn't good enough.
I am paying attention. We're just glad we're sort of heady, aren't we, with the fact that we've got some cricket to commentate. I was at Worcester and it was just rained all day.
Yeah.
At least it was properly off.
Storm are concerned as well, it's been a bit of a miserable time recently as far as weather's concerned. That washout against Central Sparks at Moseley.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's smacked over mid-on. One bounce, two bounce, three bounce, and then it'll go over the rope. She's hit that hard as Gibson, and she can hit the ball fearsomely hard.
She can. And that proper thump the advertising hoardings there.
Got a length ball and swung through the line. So a washout against South East Stars last time out. The Storm did at least get some batting in that game, but it was a no result. Then the previous time gave the Vipers a good run for their money at Millfield, although ended up on the losing side. They still have yet to beat the Vipers in the regional setup.
That's what everyone wants to do, isn't it?
Beat the Vipers. At me, that one, doesn't it?
Sorry,
especially
Charlotte Edwards,
after KSL days when it used to be the big rivalry between Storm and Vipers. Bowled! Terrific comeback from Gray. I don't know whether it kept a little bit low or not. We'll have a look on the replay, but Gibson looking to repeat the dose from earlier on in the over, and may have kept a bit low, but she was hanging on the back foot and is bowled off stump. So Gibson got things off to a bright start with 12 from 9, but that's a huge wicket for the Sunrisers because she's somebody who can do such damage. Bats at a high strike rate, hits the ball a long way, and Gibson has to go.
Yeah, because Gibson had some chances in the Ashes, which is great because I think she's a very talented all-rounder. Hits the ball hard, bowls, great fielder. So she gives England every department when she joins that side. We've got Fran Wilson coming out now to bat with Alex Griffiths. Yeah, Sunrisers, they've been very unlucky. They washed out game at Worcester with Sparks on Saturday. They had a washed out game at Northants against Thunder. Their last game was against Stars on Tuesday the 11th, where they won by where Stars won by 19 runs under DLS. So they've also been DLS'd potentially recently.
So Fran Wilson at 3. I guess promoted ahead of Sophie Luff.
Yeah.
But looking to make use of what this is the last over of the power play already. Just pushed into the covers first ball, so there's not much time here for Fran Wilson if she wants to really make use of the power play, because of course it's not a T20 and you only get 10 overs of power play out of 50. It's the same proportions for this shortened game, so there's not much time with the fielders up. And then we're back to usual 50 over regulations. There's another shout for leg before here. It doesn't look quite as convincing as the one in the previous grey over, but
just looked like process driven rather than.
Yeah,
we're going to get a replay.
There's 2 overs in a row now where there's been an early boundary and Storm trying to pull things back. So a lot of balls which is striking on around about that middle and leg, but I think she was a bit further down that time, so I do think that one was heading down. Storm could do with a boundary to finish off this power play. Wilson will get off the mark here. Try and run hard for the second, and that's good running from Griffiths, who's running to the danger end as the ball ricochets off the hands of Gray, but there for the backing up was Griffith.
She nearly got one in the mouth there, didn't she?
Yeah.
I wonder if Fran Wilson got promotion, because against the Vipers she got 49 off 47 balls with 5 fours. So she did quite nicely in their last game. Perhaps she got promotion.
So last ball of this 4 over power play. And it will be a dot. So terrific stuff from Eva Gray. It's exactly why the Sunrisers got her from the South East Stars. It's that stability with the new ball. She's very accurate, moves the ball about just enough, and she's got the key wicket of Gibson. And I think you'd have to say at 24 for 1 after 4 overs, Sunrisers power play.
Yep. Of course, they have the benefit, as we're seeing there, of the brains of Danny van Niekerk, and you've got to say, I reckon she's probably one of the best cricket brains globally. So they've got the benefit of her knowledge and her wisdom in terms of setting fields, etc. We've got Maddie Villiers coming on from the college end. And yes, Maddie Villiers. Just leave a gap for Ed so he can get he's loving that. He's going to get into that. Got a photograph of him and everything. Maddie Villiers into Griffiths, who plays that towards square leg, and Grace Scrivens in front of us tidies up. They get through for an easy single. The score moves on to 26 for 1. Yes.
Have Western Storm got a bonus run?
Was it a bonus run?
25 for 1.
Oh, 25 for 1. Oh, I'm just, when in doubt, add another one, because you're never quite sure if the scorers have sent the message to the mouse who has to take the scorers.
Yes, you do often have to do a bit of extrapolation as far as that scoreboard is concerned.
25-ish. Maddie Villiers into Fran Wilson, who plays that through the point region. There's a fielder cutting that off, and there is no run. Up to Maqsood backing up there nicely. Mara Khan just keeping her hands warm.
Be interesting to see how this pitch plays overall. The one right next to it was the one just used for the 4-day game, which was an absolute road.
Oh, is it? As Villiers comes into Wilson. Switch hits again through the sort of point region, and again it's cut off, but they do get through for a run this time. 26-ish for 1.
Yes, I think that's the way to deal with it. No, I think it looks fairly similar, really, to the pitch next to it. I think you'd even see from the pictures, it's not a great deal of live grass on it. No.
Villiers bowling a bit of spin over the wicket. Worked nicely into the leg side again. Grace Scrivens coming in front of us, protecting our marquee here, and they get through for a single. 27 for 1, our Western Storm in their green tops. Villiers just planning what she's going to bowl next. Bit of spin over the wicket to Fran Wilson, who shapes backwards but then only plays it straight to Cordelia Griffith, and there is no run.
Tidy start from Villiers, as you'd expect. Accurate bowler. And she often decides to come round the wicket, actually, but she's decided to start over.
Yeah. Possibly the sort of, they're going to get through, they're going to get burglar run there. Maddie Villiers tried to stop the ball off her own bowling there, but they do manage to scamper through. It's the end of the over. Western Storm are 28 for 1 against Sunrisers.
Yep, so I guess from that over, just a little bit of consolidation after the loss of Danny Gibson. It's difficult to know exactly how to play a 22 over game. It's always the thing with these shortened games. You end up with these random number of overs. Do you play it like a T20, or do you give yourself that little bit of extra time? I think it's always important to keep wickets in hand for the back end of any innings, because the danger so often with these sorts of games is that you go so hard up front and lose so many wickets that you really do hamstring yourself for the back end of things. Eva Gray is going to get a third over on the looks of things. And really, the way that she's bowled so far, why not?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're not. I mean, I suppose you hope that there isn't any. Well, we definitely hope there's no more loss of overs. What is the extension of what you're saying is that they go out mad because they think that there might be more loss of overs, and then they're going to be facing some mad DLS total. So yes, it's not. Do we go for it? Do we stick or twist?
Advancing down the pitch is Wilson, but even though she was doing that, she's not going to get a single. She's played it too hard to the fielder at mid-on, and Sunrisers have stayed very much on the attack here. They've got 6 fielders inside the 25-yard circle, so one more fielder than they have to. Mid-off and mid-on both up. Again, Wilson looking to use her feet, but not finding a great deal of timing there, and Gray's figures continue to get better and better.
She got into a squad, didn't she, Eva Gray? She got into one of the England squads? Was she in the A squad?
Yes, you may well be right with that. To be honest, I'm afraid the A squad's completely passed me by. It's been such a hectic summer.
I know, it's been a bit mad with the A and the full side playing the Ashes as well. Ooh.
Wilson hits over the top, and she's got plenty of that one. That won't plug. It will skip on to the mid-off boundary for 4, and Storm get their first runs this over, and that should settle any nerves that might have been there for Fran Wilson. Use of the feet, and then she stepped a little way across to the offside as well. And I think Gray possibly just fired it a little further wide of Wilson there, which allowed her to free up those arms. And it's just taken that one shot, as it so often does for Sunrisers, to stick both long off and long on back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Fine leg going back. Third coming up, keeper coming up. Wilson clips the ball into the leg side. This is another chance maybe to come back for 2, and again Griffiths has backed up really well, turned and went, and gets back for that second run.
Good running, wasn't it? Really good running.
Yeah, there's a lot of ground for that fielder at deep square to make up. There's a deep square and a mid-wicket. Quite a large gap between them, and it looks as though now they've decided to have that fielder at more of a deep mid-wicket rather than a deep square, so that opens up more possibilities for Wilson. Little inner half of the bat as she looks to clear the leg side, and the throw just about brought in by Gray. And that's the end of over number 6, 35 for 1.
Yes. It's as you say, it's difficult to know what to predict really here in terms of what kind of score. It kind of feels like T20 plus VAT, but and also not knowing what difference it's going to make to have these damp conditions. The outfield, is playable, but it is damp. So is that going to hold the ball up, or is it going to make it faster? And as you mentioned, 2 squares here, which is rather unusual because towards the college end we've got lots of sort of used wickety things, which might make for some interesting bumps there for Surin Kumar to have to deal with as the ball comes to her off the bat. We've got the Wiley Wilson as well. I mean, she's, she knows her game, doesn't she? What she got planned. And then also the head-to-head with Danny van Neerkerk, because they'll have come up against each other, no doubt, previously, as Villiers comes into Wilson. Comes forward, plays that very straight drive, and they get through for a single. We're sideways on, so I wasn't quite sure what. We've got no depth drop.
I think it was a drop catch. It looked as if it went on the full rather than bump ball.
Would have been going some. Griffiths to face this time. Goes backwards, but plays it into the leg side. It's going towards the fielder there at Cow Corner, and they get through for a single. Score is 37 for 1.
But yeah, you mentioned damp conditions are sort of slightly longer than 20 overs, but then you only have 4 overs of power play versus 6. So I wouldn't be surprised to see roughly a T20 type score at the end of things.
Reverse sweep there. They're going to Abta Maqsood's running after it. It's just a single there.
She does cover those yards between the sticksters, Alex Griffiths, so she was turning, hoping for a second run there. She's
well matched with Wilson though, isn't she? Because Wilson will, run like anything as well. As Griffiths comes forward, nurdles that backwards square. Grace Scrivens doing the fielding, just the single. 30. I want to say 38, but it's still 30. 37 for 1. Still.
Apparently it's 39 for 1.
See, well, I'm looking at a scoreboard that says 37, and I'm looking at a TV screen that says 39. So somewhere 38-ish. Villiers, Wilson comes forward and just covers the ball. There is no run. I'm going to go 39 for 1.
Yeah.
I think 39.
You stick with me.
Yes, stick with it. Yeah. 39 for 1. Into the 7th.
2 fielders now back at a square on the offside for that reverse sweep. Slash cut shot, I guess.
Yeah. Villiers to Wilson, who plays it the other way, down towards Cow Corner, and I can't quite see because it's beyond my... It's where the marquee is. We think that's at 4. It is at 4. Another 4 to the total. 43 for 1. And at the end of the 7th over, I am going to, of course, Ed is probably going to make an announcement.
Yes,
Are you going to make an announcement?
I would suggest that you hang on for a second whilst we see whether there's a bowling change, because I don't want to leave Carol completely in the lurch here. So I'd suggest you carry on for a second.
There's a debate.
There is a bowling change.
There's a debate in the middle, so the Western Storm batters are busy debating about what's going to happen now. I think we're going to see some Grace Scrivens here. Coming on from the stormy end. It's very dark clouds behind Grace Scrivens' bowling end here. So I'm going to see some more spin from Sunrisers. The last weekend, or the last game that they actually got to play, which is against Stars, Grace Scrivens took a catch. She took Freya Davis, but I don't know if she got to bowl. I can't remember. Yes, and I'm going to leave you in the capable hands of Ed Seaborn, and you're going to hear the voice for the very first time, and she's very excited. Carol Camino, now she's my captain in civil service, so I'm expecting you to look after her now.
Oh
Ed.
Yes, I'll be very nice. I'm always very nice, unless you're a Somerset fan. No, I'm only joking. This is punched into the ground, and back to Grace Scrivens. And hello.
Hello.
Carol.
Hello there.
Lovely to see you.
And you. This is very exciting. I think I've even seen a little bit of blue sky up there as well.
Just clipped away out towards deep square line to get the single. Well, that really does seem to be tempting fate to me. Yes. Okay. You did have to point quite closely for me to see exactly which part of the sky you were looking at, but there is a sort of, well, a micro gap up there. It's more working with the turn. There's Wilson, but can't get back for a second. Yes, we've still got this filthy looking dark cloud hanging over the hill, but the good news is that we can still see the antenna on top of the hill as well as the rest of it, so hopefully we should be good for a little while. Oh my word, she's tried to bounce her. It's been pulled away and it's not even going to go to the boundary in the end. And the fielder coming round from deep mid-wicket.
I think that was probably an accidental bouncer.
Well, I didn't want to say it just in case. It might have been deliberate. 47 for 1. But yes, if it did slip out, and I'm not saying it did, but if it did, then she did well to make sure that it only bounced the once. Turned slightly uppishly. No boundaries off this over, but still rotating the strike well, these two.
They are indeed, and the outfield's playing far better than I thought it might, having stood on it earlier. It really is moving quite quickly across the surface.
Yeah, thankfully I think the kind of greasy nature of the outfield has had time to, I guess the rope will have helped as well, but it's had time to drain a little bit. It's one of those outfields you just scrape your foot along and it makes that kind of squidging noise earlier on. This is turned in the air at long on's back. And so just the single to complete a tidy first over from Grace Scrivens. 6 runs coming from it. 8 overs gone already. 49 for 1. It's amazing how quickly these games go, isn't it?
Indeed, and it's like playing a 2020 fixture, and all before you know it, you're halfway through. I think overall Sunrisers are going to be a little bit more pleased with the position they're in at the moment. Western Storm definitely aren't getting away from them. Ed, I think you're waiting for an announcement. So another change of bowler here, another slow bowler.
Yep, we've got some leg spin for the first time. We've got 2 leg spinners in this Sunrisers side. Danae van Niekerk as well. Just a little word between the umpires there. I'm not exactly sure what that was about, but hopefully nothing too serious. So, bit of leg spin. Oh, flighted delivery, and it's a swing and a miss first ball.
That was a good start. I think Sunrisers will be mightily encouraged by that.
Well, she didn't really have much of a look there, did Fran Wilson? To get on top of the spinner early. Oh, she's going to have difficulty getting on top of that one, and that was such an obvious waist-high no ball that the bowler's end umpire signalled it rather than needing any advice from the square leg umpire. So that will be, even though it's a spinner, it will be a warning, it will be 2 runs, and the next delivery will be a free hit. So Wilson cannot be out other than run out of the usual dismissals. And she's clattered this one over wide mid-off. It's not quite got all of it, though. And it will just be a couple of runs.
Yeah, I think that no ball was brought about by the bat from Wilson switching round. And I think the bowler spotted it and tried to adjust, but actually it went wrong. Very good position very early there, came across ready for that ball and was able to take it away quite easily.
Yeah, stepping across the stumps, Wilson again meeting it on the full, and that is a really good over as far as Storm are concerned. It's gone for 13, 62 for 1 after 9.
Yeah, that run rate's creeping up now. It was just over 6, we're now up to almost 7.
So I do pity Abtai Maqsood bowling leg spin in these wet conditions. Of course, one of the stars, I think particularly of the original season of the 100. Probably shouldn't have used that word, original. Of course, she didn't play for the originals. Birmingham Phoenix. That's a nice looking drive, which will just about get past the fielder at mid-off. Was half stopped by Kopak up there, and that allows them to come back for a couple. Crowd is, it's actually not bad. There's a lot of people seem to have come in since the rain break. There was basically nobody in earlier. I don't blame them, but I'm not sure whereabouts they've come out of. Come out of holes in the ground. It's just clipped out towards deep backward square. Just be a single.
Yes, I think when we checked the crowd earlier today, and there were 6 people in. So I think numbers have gone up. There's even some over in the stand over the far side there.
Yes, perhaps less a hole in the ground and perhaps more a watering hole.
Yeah.
Down leg side, that will be wided. I think is that the first wide?
I think it is, and that was a good
It
take.
is as well.
Good take by the keeper there.
Yeah, we've been disciplined as far as those wides concerned. Shout for leg before wicket. Scrivens likes it. She's hopping towards the umpire, who is still as a statue.
Yeah, just very keen on that one. Oh, it just bounced a bit high, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, looked fairly straight. Just sort of shoveled into the offside by Wilson. If that had hit direct, I think, as quick as Griffiths is, she might have been in a bit of stress there.
They're certainly looking for these quicker singles, but the Sunrisers fielders have been quite sharp at the moment.
Worked themselves into a good position though, Storm. They've been patient enough to wait for the over, which sort of came to them in a way with a few full tosses. And now they're almost halfway through, having only lost 1 wicket, but still a decent run rate. Advancing, hitting it in the air, it'll be just short of Kopak there. And they're thinking about pinching a cheeky second run, which they won't get.
I think that would have been ambitious. That just bounced very slightly in front of the fielder there, so she'll be disappointed, but no chance of catching it.
Yeah, off the bat it looks as if it might be a chance, but the boundaries in the previous over just pushed those fielders back a fraction towards the edge of the circle. Wilson looking to access the leg side that time, but can't do so. So end of over number 10. So we're already almost at the halfway mark. 68 for 1.
Yes, again, I think we may well be seeing a little bit of acceleration shortly. They've got the wickets in hand at this point, so I think the Sunrisers will certainly be looked to push on from here onwards.
I think we're going to have a commentary change. Claire Jenkins is going to replace me after a few more words from Carol.
Okay, yes, and I think at the moment, looking at the sort of demeanour of the fielders out there, Sunrise is certainly up for this. Speaking to one of their players earlier, they'd been very disappointed that they hadn't been able to get out and play over the weekend.
Yeah.
And so they've been really pleased about being able to get on today and actually get some cricket in. I'm sure many club cricketers would sympathise with that one as well.
I'm sure they would. Yeah, they've missed the last 2 games through rain and a very wet Worcester. I was there hoping to commentate for Central Sparks. We did get on and talk for a bit, but we didn't get any cricket, unfortunately, and it was not good quality, I'm afraid. So 1 or 2 technical issues at Worcester. So apologies if you were very patient at that. Surin Kumar coming on from the college end. Griffiths to face. Ooh, that wraps the pants, and there is an appeal, but the umpire, Joe Ibison, is not interested.
You know, possibly a slightly ambitious first ball LBW appeal there.
Well, we like the enthusiasm, don't we?
Absolutely.
So, well, no, that's worth a shout, as they say. That's played through the covers, past the fielder. They get through for 1, and they're going for the 2. There's a bit of a shy. I think they're going to get in, as Ed mentioned. They move across the ground very quickly, these 2. So that's another 2 to the score.
Yeah, they're running very well, and I think that's making the difference here. We were talking earlier about the importance of being able to run those 2s and the difference it can make to the score overall.
Absolutely. 70 for 1. Surin Kumar over the wicket. There's some pace outside of off, and that's played through long off.
Seems like there's a pretty even bounce coming through from the seamers when they're bowling. Not seen much variation in the height, so again that's good to see with everything having been so wet earlier.
Yeah, you're never quite sure, are you, once they take the covers off, which bits are damp, which bits are wet, what's been sweating under those covers. Surin Kumar tossing the ball hand to hand. Wilson rocks back and plays that through cover point, and they get through for an easy single there. Score moves on to 72 for 1. And 50 up, that is that. You can hear the applause.
Yeah, we can hear the crowd now.
Yeah, you can hear the crowd now. 50 up there for Western Storm. They'll be pleased to get past that milestone. Surin Kumar to Griffiths this time, who plays that lovely shot there towards the boundary, and it's just where I can't see. There's a fielder there, so they just get the 1 then. We're in a marquee here, and it's been very cold, but actually it was actually warmer outside the marquee than it was in here earlier when we were sheltering from the rain. It's getting quite sort of steamy here, or perhaps it's just after lunch. Surin Kumar. And that's played through the point.
Might be time to take a layer off now, Claire.
Yes. I've got a lovely look. I've got her game 2 hoodie on, so that's keeping me nice and warm. That's the end of the over. 73 for 1. 11 overs down. 11 overs to go. So we're halfway stage then, Carol.
Absolutely halfway. Yeah, 73 on the board. What do you think would be a good score?
Well, I've got a theory.
I've heard your theory. Tell us, Claire.
Yes. So it doesn't quite work with 22, but my theory is when it's 20. Because I don't do numbers. When it's 20, it's double plus 20. So I don't know. I think maybe
166.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm not quite sure what difference the extra 2 overs is going to make.
I think 150 minimum. 150 minimum, I think, is what we'll be looking for now.
I'm sure that's what they'll want, that kind of for the mental pressure of the scoreboard, isn't it? As Scrivens moves her fielder, she's moving a bit. Yeah, moving her long ons and her long offs to very specific places. She comes in over the wicket. That's played into the leg side. There is a fielder there cutting that off. They turn and they think about a second and then think again. Just the 1 then.
Yeah, and no second one there this time. I think that's probably wise.
74 for 1. Scrivens, captain of the England under-19s. And that's reversed by Wilson, straight to the short third field, and they get through for a single. Alex Griffiths is quite keen for a second one there. Thought against it though.
That's about third or fourth time that Fran Wilson is shaped to play that shot. I think that was probably a reverse paddle rather than
reverse paddly. I think you're right. Scrivens into Griffiths this time, comes forward, plays a lovely drive to that long on fielder that Grace Scrivens was being very specific about where she wanted her. Nice drive. No real risk because it wasn't high in the air, was it? But
no.
Nice single there. Wilson tries to play that really forced shot, but it just goes straight to the field. Unfortunately, there is no run.
Yeah, I think Sunrisers and Scrivens have made some little adjustments in the field there to make sure they cut these 2s down. It's coming in a little bit off the boundary.
Yeah, Scrivens to Wilson. Plays that over Joe Ibbotson at square leg. There is a fielder there. And they just get through for the single. It's quite a short, well, it looks a short boundary from us in the marquee across to the wicket, and then it looks longer the other side down the hill. But maybe an optical illusion. Scriven comes into. It's gone up in the air. There's nobody underneath it, so it's going to drop, and they're going to swoop that up as the batters get through for 2 runs, scampering as they do.
Yes, I think we were excited for a minute there until we managed to peer around the marquee and see that it was dropping between 2 fielders.
So yes, not only are we at some disadvantage, we're also peering around the kind of curtain bits which we can't push back any further, which I know is our problems and nothing to do with you. Oh look, James has sprung into action. Camera guy is now, as I called him last year. He remembered it. God, I didn't. He remembered. So that's 79 for 1 after 12 overs. He's doing blue jobs there, pulling the curtain back for us, so we don't have to do quite so much peekaboo as Surin Kumar contemplates bowling the next over. Wilson waits. Now camera guy's cold now because he's pulled the curtain back. That's played lovely, but it's deflected, and they get through for a single. She played that really hard. Was it the bowler who copped that one coming back?
Just going to have a look at the replay now.
Yeah.
It just disappeared behind the curtain.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, it was probably a catch.
Difficult chance, but was a drop catch.
Yeah. Griffiths Brooks back, plays that to Point, who does well to fend that. They get the 1, they think about 2, but to think against it, just the 1 then. Played well down into the ground, but the Point fielder did did well to parry that. Just got one more to the total. 81-ish for one. The scores are the same now. Surin Kumar into Wilson this time, who shapes to do that, to do that reverse. It's a wide. I think that was the second wide if you had the first wide previously.
That's an interesting one. I'd like to see that replay on the wide, as she had shape to go in the opposite direction.
Yes, the wide line does different things when you go that way. Surin Kumar into Wilson. Plays that up in the air, over the Cordelia Griffiths. Just out of her reach there. There is a fielder who's going to tidy that up. And they get through for just the one, was it?
A 2.
A 2?
Yeah.
A 2.
I think that previous one just shows how when the batsman's moving around in the crease, it can be quite difficult for the bowler to adjust their line in time.
Yeah. 84 for one. Surin Kumar. Nice bowling action, actually. Enjoying that. That's played lustily straight down the ground. And that's done it for Neerkirk out there. On the long off. Ooh, that's warming Surin Kumar's hands there. Score moves on to 85 for one, approaching the end of the 13th over. So we've gone past the tipping point here, the 22 overs. How many runs can Western Storm get? Surin Kumar. Griffiths thinks about coming forward, but then thinks against it and sort of defends it down. That was a sort of defensive kadunk, but it wasn't really very kadunky. It was more of a, I'm not quite sure, 2 shots at once shot.
I think it
into
was
the off.
I think it was one that she thought might have been a wide, but was trying to work out whether to play it or not.
It wasn't. It was halfway between a cut and a drive. She comes forward and plays, drives that indeed straight to Danif and Neerkirk down the ground and just get through for the single.
Van Neerkirk's throwing that into the far end just in case
just
of
in case
a run-out chance.
86 for one. 13 overs gone. Ed is contemplating whether he's got to make an announcement in case they change the bowling. He's loving that. He's always wanted to do it. He's doing a brilliant job.
Could we put that on the unusual bucket list items?
Yeah, unusual bucket list. Ed wants to do the announcements. He's so pleased about that. But don't tell him. I'm kind of secretly hoping he's on the comm so I can do one, but don't tell him. Scrivens contemplates what will she serve to Alex Griffiths. He's on 30, so she's getting settled now. She comes forward, plays up and over, and that's a single down to cow corner. Some good fielding down there. It must be Maddie Villiers down there throwing that ball back.
Griffiths uses those long levers very well with those shots that she's playing. You said it frees up her arms and gets that drives, those nice long drives in.
Yeah. Scrivens into Wilson this time. Again plays that down towards Cowcorn. That Maddie Villiers is busy down there, down the hill, throwing it back to Amara Carr. Keeper in the game. Keep the keeper in the game. That's right, isn't it, Carol? She keep the keeper in. Carol's a wicket keeper. She loves wicket keeping. She's still playing. She's playing for the East Anglia
veteran ladies.
And that's played again to Maddie Villiers. It's like Groundhog Day. Another single. 89 for one. Yes, you keep wicket, don't you?
So at least as a wicket keeper, hopefully you don't have to run around too much.
No, but you're in the game every single
Indeed.
ball. Scrivens into Wilson. The reverses. Oh, that's going to be a lovely 4, I think. You're not going to stop that.
And that's that reverse shot. She's absolutely cracked that one this time.
She has. A proper connection there, wasn't it? And Wilson is now they're sort of trying to keep up with each other. So Wilson's on 43 off the 39 balls she's faced. Griffiths is on 32 off the 35 she's faced. Grace Scrivens is paying great attention to the seam of the ball. She can get a good grip there. Wilson again shapes QNs that to Cordelia Griffiths, and there is no run.
I think she needed the chalk for that one, didn't she?
She did. That was not as well timed, shall we say, as the last shot. Scrivens sending dismissively sending the cover point fielder back to the boundary in case Fran Wilson tries that again. She shapes and then just as if defiance plays that backward of square to the 45, and they get through for 2 runs. Score moves creeping closer to that milestone, Carol, and 95 for one off 14 overs.
And look in that Manhattan graph, it's been quite steady scoring all the way through.
Oh yeah, good spot. Yeah. Quite even there, isn't it? Just the one little outlier.
Yeah, bit of a peak in the 9th.
Yeah.
But other than that, they've been scoring steadily.
Nice spot. 14 overs gone. 95 for 1. What did I say? You said 160. What was my calculation?
I said 150.
Yeah, they've got to get past the 150, haven't they? Just for that kind of pressure, scoreboard pressure. Surin Kumar carrying on from the college end to Griffiths. Rocks backwards, plays it to cover, straight to the fielder. There is a shy at the stumps, but it's thrown down into the ground and kind of took the speed off it, unfortunately. Just get through for the 1. 96 for 1.
That looked like Surin Kumar was standing in front of the stumps, just trying to deflect it onto the stumps as it came in.
Wilson this time to face Surin Kumar. She does lots of lateral movement, doesn't she, Fran Wilson? Lots of funky shots, so it must be quite difficult to set a field to her. And shapes to do that reverse, and it's a wide instead. I suppose it is challenging the bowler. Do the bowlers go with where the batter is moving to, or? Oh, some James,
Look,
camera guy, he spotted some blue sky.
I told you there was some blue sky. There's even more blue sky now. We can see it over the chapel. It's looking quite scenic over there now.
Yeah, and the other side, where the wet weather has been coming from, is looking slightly less dark as it was. Surin Kumar into Wilson, who has a little waft at that outside of off and doesn't manage to get on it just as well because Marikar was right behind it.
She's actually taking her stance almost outside off stump from Wilson.
Yeah. Good spot. She is. Oh, well, yes. She's taking that wide line a long way, isn't she? Surin Kumar into Wilson. Plays that through to cover, straight to Cordelia Griffiths, who cuts that off, and there is no run. 97 for 1. Wilson heading to... Are we going to get a 50, do you think? Going to see a 50 from one of these, so Wilson's getting there closer.
I think she'd be disappointed from this point not to get it.
Yeah, that's a good point. And Wilson plays that lustily down to Jennifer Neerkirk at the long off boundary, cuts that off well, and they get through for 2. 99, although the crowd are excited. No, it's just clocking the run. Okay. 99 for 1, Western Storm batting.
I think they must be looking at a different scoreboard.
There might be a third one somewhere that's got a different score on. Surin Kumar into Fran Wilson, 47. Plays a huge shot. I think that might be challenge the boundary. It's out of my view there. What we're going to get? It's a 6. And Fran Wilson's 50. Go Ed.
Fran Wilson's 50 from 45 balls, including 5 fours and 1 6.
He's doing that so well, I don't even need to do that for you.
Well, what a way to get you 50.
It's a nice way, isn't it?
No caution around that one.
No, it was she proper Myberg that one, didn't she? We were talking about last time we were here. It was Southeast Stars, and I mentioned hitting the ball over. Oh, it was a reverse sweepy thingy, but we didn't get anything off that. That's no runs off that one.
For anybody else, that might have been an LBW shout, but again, she was standing outside her off stump, so it wasn't going to be.
Oh, it's all left and right, left and right, left and right.
Yeah.
As the batters take a bit of refreshment, we can take a breath. Goodness, that was exciting.
Yeah,
lots happening there, wasn't there?
It was indeed. Yes, no, it's great, and the run rate is just, you can see looking at that graph now, it's steadily going upwards. I'm sure that Sunrisers would like to see that going up a little bit more sharply over these last few overs. 7 overs to go now. Yes.
And are we going to see a change of bowling? Is Ed going to the microphone again? I'm not sure. There's a conference. Jennifer Neerkirk, Maddie Villiers, and Grace Scrivens are stood deciding what are they going to do next. Looks like a change of bowling because Grace Scrivens is heading down the pitch for that long drive. Yet Maddie Villiers, go on Ed. Maddie Villiers.
Change of bowling at the college law hold. Maddie Villiers.
Yeah, see, Maddie Villiers.
Yeah.
James camera guy wants to hear a correction, but he's doing it so well he doesn't need to do any corrections. As Villiers comes into Griffiths, comes forward and mistimes that one completely after the drink, and wears a bruise instead.
Yeah,
for that delivery.
She charged up for that one. That was a good 4 metres up the wicket there.
Villiers tossing the ball hand to hand, right arm over. Griffiths plays that beautifully through the covers. There is a fielder there who's going to cut that off. That's just a single. Score moves on to 106 for 1. Into the 16th over here. We're playing a 22 over rain shortened game here in the Rachael Heyhoe Flint, which would normally be a 50 over. Villiers over stomps to Wilson, who comes forward and just dabs that delicately into the square leg region, and they get through for a single.
That was a much more Fran Wilson-like shot from the old days.
Yeah, it's just a nice little dab.
Before she learnt all
Dab,
the
dab.
newfangled shots.
Yeah.
That's lovely to
It's
see.
when she goes funky too early, but we've got 50, so we're happy for her to do a bit funky. Oh, that's played beautifully down to the long off fielder. Nice hit, but only one, but then it goes through Madia Villiers, and Amara Carr does the tidying up. Just the one to total. 108 for 1.
Yeah, on the leg side there, they've got the sort of straighter field as the one right on the boundary, but on the offside, she's a little bit in, which is why they're only taking the one there.
Yeah, Wilson works that behind square, and a diving fielder, but they get through just for the single. 109 for 1.
So ticking over just the one ball to go in the 15th over now.
You can see from the live stream actually that second square I was talking to you, setting lots of squares. You can see how rough that is down there. Villiers to Griffiths comes forward, and they get through for 1. Are they going to? They're going to think about 2, aren't they? Yeah, they're going to get 2. It's 2 there. Yeah. 2 there.
Committed very early to that, didn't they?
That's good, and that's good communication between the two batters. 1-1-1 for 1. We're supposed to. We have to off both legs or something. 1-1 for 1 off the 16.
Have you mastered levitation, Claire?
Yes, I did. Anyone who can levitate, please do it now for Western Storm. 1-1-1 for 1 off 16 overs. Just coming up to 4 o'clock. Just glad to get some cricket in now, aren't we? Nice to see some cricket, Carol.
There is, and there's a couple of people at the ice cream van as well. Nice to see him getting some business on a day like today.
Yeah. We tried out the Greek, which is very nice. Greek grill for lunch, very nice. Surun Kumar into Wilson. Reverses. Oh, there's an appeal for a catch behind, but Joe Ibbotson is not interested. Marakar was not completely convinced, I don't think, but worth a shout.
I think that was one of those keeper ones down the leg side where you're so
Trying
pleased
to
you've
avoid
caught
the
it. Might have just touched the pad.
Surun Kumar got a wicket when they played their last game against Stars. Just 1 for 42. Wilson plays that straight to the fielder. Doesn't keep hold of it, unfortunately. And there's an overthrow. They could have burgled a run there in all of that. I think everyone was just holding their breath, missing the chance to burgle a run. I think just taking a breath probably.
Fran Wilson looked quite resigned to that while she was waiting for the ball to land.
Straight to the fielder, unfortunately. Surun Kumar. Ooh, sirens. And that's played down to long on, and there is 1 run. That sounds like the cliche klaxon, but I don't think I've done a cliche so far. So
I think we've missed them so far. I think people will be worried about you.
Yeah. Yeah, like a good cliche or dad joke, that sort of thing. It's been a bit disappointing from that point of view. I haven't said anything that's cringeworthy so far. Plenty of chance here though. 112 for 1. Oh, it's played up in the air. Is there a fielder there? We can't see that corner.
Yeah,
yes, there is a
there.
fielder there. Eva Gray's just done the tidying up there.
You've got another whole innings yet, Claire. It's all right.
Yeah, I've got plenty of chance to talk rubbish. 113 for 1. Approaching the end of the 17th over. 5 and a bit more to go. What can Western Storm get to? Wilson contemplates. Oh, she's going all over the field. And she plays that straight to the fielder and doing that funky stuff. She could not have given, or would have had difficulty giving an easier chance there, Carol.
No, that's one of those ones that you actually have as a catching practice when you got your coach there and just tipping it over into your hand.
Lobbed it.
Yeah.
And she knows as soon as she's played it, she's thought, oh, there's a fielder there.
Yeah.
That's not good. And it wasn't good. So Wilson. Yeah, 56 off. 52 balls, so more than a run a ball, which is good.
Yeah, a very good platform, I think, for Sunrisers to really push on for these last 5 or so overs.
For the bowling, yeah. You just said Sunrisers.
Sorry, you're quite right. Yes.
You meant
the other ones.
Yeah,
it's Western Storm.
The other
absolutely.
ones, the green ones. The green ones have got 113 for 2.
This is the first time, Claire.
I get it wrong all the time. It is, as you say, a good platform to. Something to defend. Yes. Once they get the ball in their hand. 113 for 2. One more ball of the 17th over. Do we have a new batter? I missed that. Neve Holland.
Another right-hander.
She got 44 off 43, including 6 fours against the Vipers. So Neve did very well there.
Sunrisers would appreciate that at the moment.
And also Heather Knight's pinched her for London Spirit this 100. Suren Kumar comes in for a last ball. Ooh, sort of edged. Was it edged?
Yeah.
And it's going down towards the boundary. Abta Maksoodi's running after it. And the ball beats her, and that's another 4. So nice 4. Good off the mark then, Neve Holland.
That's a good way to start your account for the day.
Start, wasn't it? Along the carpet.
Not entirely a controlled one, I don't think.
But, yes. Straight down for 4. Ooh, lovely. That's 117 for 2. Western Storm batting against Sunrisers. And we have 5 overs left. And the lovely Ed is coming back to join me.
The lovely Ed.
Yes, the lovely Ed. I think I'll turn that up a bit. I'm going to turn that down a bit. Just a smidge.
Right.
Woo.
If as long as you're all happy, then
yes.
we're all good to go. Yeah. Maddie Villiers then will bowl her 4th over. So 2 bowlers can bowl 5.
Oh yeah, you've been working these numbers out, haven't you?
Oof. Smash down the ground. Probably only going to be the single though. As hard as they try to come back for the second, they can't. But yeah, what an innings that was from Fran Wilson.
Right.
And a huge 6 to bring up.
That we like
The half century.
Showboating.
Terrific form continues in the Rachael Heyhoe Flint Trophy. Holland has given that a good smack as well, but probably only going to be the 1 run. Yeah, key contribution from Wilson, who's the aggressor really in that partnership with Alex Griffiths. Griffiths possibly now needing to take up the mantle of aggressors. That's looped in the air, but it'll fall short of a cover fielder. Suren Kumar fielding there.
Yeah, tantalising, wasn't it? Because it was spinning. We could see it looping in the air from where we are because it was kind of towards us.
I've got her down as number 5, but she's number 1.
She's number
I
1.
like that confidence.
Oh.
Reverse sweep, and it's past the short third fielder. I'm not sure it's quite going to go, though. It's creeping towards the line and doesn't quite get there.
It's a good bit of
Excellent fielding.
Stop that.
Yeah,
Well done.
Screwcock coming back from short third. She's a long way to go. And they've got back, I think they've got back for 3 in the end there. God, look at that dive. Magnificent dive to stop that.
That might come in handy, those runs, won't it? Later.
It's a fine little clip, but it won't beat short fine. So Neve Holland, under 19 international, under 19 World Cup participant, the first to score a half century in the under 19 World Cup for England.
Yeah.
And she had a good time of it against the Southern Vipers. As the low full toss is slammed down the ground for a single. And that will complete the 18th over, so just 4 overs to go with Holland and Griffiths. Sounds like a sort of brand gone a bit wrong there, doesn't it? Obviously they ditched Barrett, but it is Holland who made 44 from 43 deliveries against the Southern Vipers, so an innings of similar attacking intent would be excellent here, and she's off to a good start with 9 from 4, and already we can see that Suren Kumar is going to be one of the bowlers to get through her full 5 over allocation. She's bowled very well, I think, especially given that she's had a couple of things to come back from. She's had to deal with Wilson moving all over her crease, and as a youngster coming through the Sunrisers system, looks very good.
Yeah, it's a lovely action, as I mentioned earlier. Straight to a fielder.
Camera guy's cold, but I'm actually quite hot.
Camera guy's in a t-shirt, James.
Camera guy says he doesn't feel cold. About 2 seconds ago, he was complaining that it was cold because of the curtain being open. All he does is complain.
we have to thank him, though, from what he set up last year. Suren Kumar into Griffiths, who plays a lovely shot to cow corner. I think it's gone. Oh yeah, it's gone for 4. We can't see that corner, so I have to wait for the umpire to signal that one. Last year we have to thank him because the tech guys managed to wire up a camera without a camera, so we could.
Oh, that was magnificent, wasn't it? I've never experienced anything like that before. Commentating into a camera
with no lens on it. Believe us, it does make sense, even though it doesn't sound like it makes sense.
I'm going to have to dig that picture out now. It's a bizarre looking setup. But no, we've got a more usual kit this year. The old black box. Trusty black box.
Griffiths comes forward, plays it up in the air, but it into a gap, so it's no risk, but the fielder has to come round at long on. Just the 1 run. Slightly untidy throw, but still only the 1 run.
Who would you send in next, do you think?
What's that list?
There's obviously a case for Sophie Luff.
Yeah,
almost wonder though, would you be tempted to send in Lauren Filer for a bit of long handle?
We've got Emma Corney, have we?
That's going to be wided. I'm overloading poor Claire Jenkins here with questions and.
Is it Emma Corney's in the team? Is she?
Yeah, well, Emma Corney's.
She got 69 last week.
An option as well, as there's no bad options really.
No, it's nice that they've got options as Suren Kumar comes in. Oh, it's played up in the air. Is there I can't see that corner. There's a fielder there.
It is, and the catch has been taken.
She's been courted. Oh, that was a really nice innings there as well. And that's played to the old cow corner. It was a really nice shot, but I think as soon as she played it, she realised there was somebody underneath it. There's Eva Gray down there, I think, in that corner. And nice innings there from Alex Griffiths, and you can hear the appreciation of the crowd. And we get the answer to who's the new batter. It is Captain Fantastic, Sophie Luff, to the crease. I'm sure Ed's going to give us that. He avoided saying Captain Fantastic, but he did say Sophie Luff. So that's the answer to the conundrum about who do you send in now with 3.1 overs left. Western Storm find themselves 133 for 3.
Every single time, camera guy is trying to make me think that I've got the announcement wrong. It's really horrid. Really, really horrid.
I gather, so to explain why they think this is funny, so the usual announcer apparently is well known for his correction.
But if I'm not saying he gets stuff wrong, but if he does, then that's the way he does it. I think it's a very good way of doing it.
That's dabbed into the offside rather, and they get through for a single. So Captain Fantastic, Sophie Love, straight off the mark, 1 off 1, 100%.
I'm still amazed in a quick game like this, as we see the summary here with Wilson and Griffiths, the major contributors, and then Surin Kumar, 5 overs, 2 for 37 in the end. Terrific figures from her, so she's one of the bowlers that's going to get through her full allocation, and it looks as though Maddie Villiers is going to be the second, continuing into her 5th over. But even in a quick game like this, you have time to get out Captain Fantastic Sophie Love every time. And it's a lot of words to get into a short space of time, especially when there's only a few seconds in between overs.
Well, just as well that we haven't got the ever-entertaining Alex Hartley, because
Oh,
that'll take
yes.
much longer to when it's thunder, although she's had a little rest. She's coming back for the 100 though.
The ever-entertaining Alex Hartley.
Villiers into Love, who goes backwards, works it into the leg side. Always good with a nurdle is Captain Fantastic. That's just a single though. 135 for 3.
We had Rita Green working with us on the championship match yesterday. Magnificent to have her company, and it reminded me of an Alex Hartley story actually, with the third voice scheme.
Right, we'll come back to that in a minute. Villiers to Holland, who does a reverse sweep, but goes straight to the fielder, so there's no run.
So at the beginning of the season, an email was sent out to, I think, all the current female professionals in the regional game, asking if they'd like to get involved doing a bit of commentary. Just come along, as it's quite informal. You can only do you can do a day here or there as suits your training schedules, etc., and you can come along and commentate for the BBC on men's county championship cricket.
And that's worked into the leg side again, this time by Holland. And they get through for the 1. They think about a second, but Sophie Love just sends her colleague back.
So Alex Hartley apparently thought, oh yes, that'll do, I fancy a bit of that maybe, and so she sent an email back saying, I'd quite like to be involved with this.
Yeah. Villiers to Love, comes forward, plays that into the air, but I think it's going to drop in front of the fielder. It is indeed, and Eva Gray thought she was in for another catch there. Just one run.
So she got a reply back saying, did you read the email? Yes. Did you read the title of the email?
Villiers, this time on tenterhooks. Holland comes forward and plays that towards the marquee. I thought Carol was going to feel that then. It's 4 runs. She was ready. 4 runs to the total. 141.
Oh, we're on camera.
141 for 2.
We were on camera.
Were we?
That was exciting. Lovely shot, backing away and taking it off stump, just lifting it over the
there
infield.
We are, look.
But the email title read, would you like to be the next Alex Hartley, Ishigua, Ebony Rainford Brent?
Oh, God. That's missed down the leg side and it's a wide.
So, there you go. I thought that was quite amusing.
Yeah.
On the subject of third voices.
So she got that email. Did Alex Hartley get the email
as I say,
saying,
because,
would you like to be the
because
next
I think
Alex
it got sort of blanket sent out to everybody in the regional setup.
Brilliant. Holland plays that down towards Cow Corner, and it's going to go into a gap, I think. Although Eva Gray's taking a big run. She cut that off. It's down the hill there, so we can't quite see.
It's hard to know. It's signalled 4.
Signal 4.
You can't see the ball as it disappears down the hill, like you say, but
yeah, down the hill.
It has been signalled.
A4. So at the end of the 20th over, 146 for 3 are Western Storm batting in this Rachael Heyhoe Flint. What would normally be 50 overs, but today, because of rain, is a 22 over a side game as Ed disappears off, because there's going to be, has to be a change of bowling now, because I think Surin Kumar has bowled her allotted overs. 5 overs, 37 runs and 2 wickets. Nice spell from Surin Kumar as the Dunif and Nearkirk debates who's coming on that end. Kate Kopak. Thank you very much, Ed. So, I'm going to see some Kate Kopak come back on. She's already done 2 overs and she went for 12 runs. So 6 and over from Kate Kopak before. What can she give them in what would be, what we call them, is the death?
Yes, I think it is.
Death overs.
Fight to the death.
Fight to the death.
Right, Kate Kopak then to Sophie Luff. And Luff has swung that backward a square for 4.
Yep.
That was a shot right out of that 157 that she made against the Sunrisers in the Rachael Heyhoe Flint Trophy at Bristol. Brings up the 150, but she played a lot of shots through that region, across the stumps and accessing the fine areas on that leg side. I can remember about 3 or 4 boundaries going through there. Eventually, Sunrisers had to put somebody back fine, but of course that opened a gap up somewhere else. The extraordinary thing about that 157 from Luff is it wasn't even the highest score of the day. Catherine Bryce made 162 for the Lightning.
The Scots.
As was then.
Yeah, Blaze now, of course.
It's driven away down to long on. And they'll try and push hard for a second, but that would be suicidal. There's no need to really be pushing that, especially after they've got a boundary off the first ball of the over. Always critical to get those boundaries early on.
Captain Fantastic Sophie Luff just passing on a bit of wisdom to Niamh Holland there, who's on 20 off her 10 balls, so 200 strike rate. Kopak.
Slower ball, this is muscled into the leg side. There's a fielder there though, and it's over her head. And it's going to go for 4. It's a little way off the boundary there was Eva Gray. And the ball's just crept over her head. It was hit obviously a little bit better than Gray thought. And Holland gets another boundary.
It's a nice leap. It's a nice leap.
It was a nice leap.
Like a young salmon.
She just didn't quite get where the boundary was.
Phrase.
24 off 11. This is the perfect innings from Holland. And she's cutting firmly this time, but should just be the one. I don't think they'll be able to challenge.
Kopak's banging that in, isn't she? She's proper walloping that down when she comes in. Trying to use the pitch.
Proper walloping
it down. That, yeah.
I like that. Everyone says, you know, there's the cliche of hitting the pitch hard, isn't there? But I think proper walloping it down is far better.
You'll have the klaxon go off if you talk about that.
Full and driven out towards extra cover. Good work out there on the boundary. And limits it to just the single.
Maddie Villiers down there, I think, opposite us, isn't she?
Yeah, well, she's often to be found straight down the ground, but I think they've recognised that there's so much acreage out there on that offside that, especially down the hill as well, that you've probably got to put one of your best fielders out at deep extra.
Yep.
Oh, she's gone for the paddle and she's managed to Q-end it. They'll pick up a single, and so they've scored off every ball that over and hit a couple of boundaries as well. So 158 for 3 with 1 over to go. Your prediction was 164, was it not, in terms of your double it and add 20? So 6 off the final over?
Just saying. Of course, last time we were here, Ed's got to go and do another announcement. Last time we were here, we had Catherine Wilkins in the back of the box, and she predicted exactly what the score was going to be. Several overs out. Ed. Ding, 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 ding. So,
the final over of Western Schools innings from the College Lawn end, Eva Gray.
Eva Gray coming back on from the College Lawn end. Sophie Luff's had a chat with Niamh Holland. They could get a big score off here, I think, given the chance. But Eva Gray's been bowling some good stuff as well. She's moving her field.
Apologies if we just blasted your ears off then. Apparently there's some bizarre thing with the levels, and hopefully this should be all right now.
Yeah, Eva Gray. Big swing and a miss there. First ball from Niamh Holland.
So Gray, who bowled 3 overs up front, now having to bowl 1 over right at the end. It's tricky thing to do, I think, just to come back after not bowling for quite a while.
Taking responsibility,
and then to come back and bowl that one right at the death.
They're going to get, that's worked behind at square. Amta Maksud comes in. She does martial arts, you know, Abda Maksud. Don't mess with her.
Does she? Well, I wouldn't do anyway, to be honest. I don't think I'd mess with any of them out there. I think any of them would easily have me in a fight. Couldn't defend myself against anybody. That's why I have to be the lovely Ed, because otherwise people might start picking fights with me.
Eva Gray to Sophie Love, who works that again to Abda Maksud, and they get a single. Not big runs though, are they? They're only getting little ones.
Yeah, well,
59-3.
I guess there's still time, but it's an excellent start from Gray, who's been tricky to get away. I think, I don't know, would they, if they had the chance to do it over again, would they give her a set of 5 rather than the 4? Yeah. It's always tricky in these circumstances to know who to go to.
Yep. And that Holland shapes to do some sort of scoopy thing, but they get through for a 1. Is that going to be a bye? Let's have a look. And Harry says a wide. That was a wide, so they ran 1 as well.
Yeah, I mean, you do get more allowance when the batters are playing those scoop shots now, but clearly it was felt that that was too far down the leg side and wouldn't have hit Holland in original stance.
Yeah, the interpretation's changed now with lateral movement from the batter. There is a little more leeway on the wides. Eva Gray. Oh, there's a thump there as the ball goes into the leg side. They get through for a single, and I think Anne Harris is getting a leg by. 162 for 3.
We've been kept very busy here, is Anne Harris. I mean, it's ball after ball after ball he's having to make signals. He's basically having to make 50 overs worth of signals in this 1 over.
Yeah, they're working him. Eva Gray. 2 more balls. What can she do? Big swing. Oh, it's gone a long way. Is it going to drop? Yes, in front of Grace Scrivens, but she does a lovely cut off because that bounces awkwardly in front of her, and they get through for 2. 165 for 3. Oh, my calculation was 166. So 1 more, please.
Oh, it was 166. Oh.
1 more, and I've done a Reggie on this. If you're listening, Catherine Wilkins, you got that. You got it right about 15 overs out last time we were here. Eva Gray into Niamh Holland. Ooh, takes a big swing. And that is that. So I was only 1 out. You going to give me that?
Yeah. I think we're going to get... Well, it's 166 to win, isn't it? And that's exactly what you said. So, Alex Griffiths, 46 from 47, and Fran Wilson, 56 from 52. Big partnership there for that second wicket. Took the score from 22 without loss all the way up to 113. And then Niamh Holland with 28 off just 17 balls to end that Western Storm innings. So, 166 required. So, just under 8 runs per over for the Sunrisers. Where's the balance of power, Claire?
I think we're going to have a good game here. I think it could be a really quite exciting. It depends on who do you reckon that they're going to open with?
Sunrisers. Well, I would guess probably Griffith and Scrivens, but then you've got to probably use, I guess, the likes of Van Niekerk if the rate gets up a bit higher, somebody who can really muscle the ball over that boundary. Villiers, I suspect, will come in the top order, but they've got, just like Storm, really, they've got a lot of options that they can use in various ways, but I would be quite surprised if it weren't Scrivens and Griffith still to open despite the change of the number of overs.
In the Rachael Heyhoe Flint, in terms of the top 5 batters for Sunrisers, it reads Jodie Grucock, Cordelia Griffith, Grace Scrivens, Kate Kopak and Maddie Villiers. That's their top 5 in Rachael Heyhoe Flint. So will they stick with that, or will they think, well, it's kind of a 20 over? I mean, I don't have the stats for the Charlotte Edwards. So
well, I think a lot of it is going to just depend on the situation, isn't it? In terms of just whether they can get off to a flyer of a start, and then you can potentially send in a manoeuvrer. Whereas if they potentially need a accelerator, then you might see different options. Anyway, that is...
And the other thing is they've got left and right options, haven't they? Because Grucock is left-handed and so is Grace Scrivens, so that gives them a kind of... If the left-hander is out...
Yes, that is true. Yeah, can do a bit of the old match-ups.
Yes.
So, We will have a brief break. I believe that it is only a 10-minute interval because of the rain, so it's not a half-hour interval, so don't go too far. But we will be back for the run chase for the Sunrisers. They will need 166 runs to win from their 22 overs. Welcome back to the 151st Cheltenham Festival. It is Ed Seaborn and Carol Camino to start the commentary for the second half of the game. And Carol, where do you see the balance of power at the halfway stage?
I think Western Storm will be pretty happy with the score that they've got on the board. It's all there for Sunrisers to get. It's 7.5 and over, which if this is a T20 match you wouldn't think was too challenging. But I think with the conditions that we've got here, I think it's going to be quite a good effort to get up over that 165 score.
Yes, got Claire on the PA now.
She's been wanting to do that all afternoon.
She has been wanting to do that, I could tell, so I thought this is probably a good opportunity to get her to do it. Right, Danny Gibson then is going to take the first over from the chapel end. Grace Scrivens, on strike. Give her the single immediately, played straight towards Sophie Luff. Grace Scrivens has been a Western Storm killer in her career. It seems as though she basically never fails to score runs or take wickets against Western Storm. Every time she plays, pretty much. I'll get off the mark this time with a single worked through square leg.
Yes, it's the first time I've seen Danny Gibson bowling in the flesh, as it were. She certainly seems to hurry the batsman, makes them sort of struggle to get those shots in, so it's good to see that. See why she's started making a successful career with England.
Yeah, well, what a moment it was when she reverse swept the winning runs in an Ashes game at Lord's. That really was absolutely marvellous to see. As indeed, of course, and I'm sure we'll see Lauren Filer bowl very soon. But Lauren Filer, who almost did have a wicket with her first ball in Test cricket, but she got Elise Perry out twice.
I know, how amazing was that?
Griffith clipping the ball off her pads, and in fact it's just come off pad. I think we've got a pre-signal from umpire Ibbotson, and it is just the one leg by.
Yeah, it's great to see these newer, younger players coming into the England setup, and not just coming into it but really performing right from the off.
And without wishing to blow local trumpets, it is a real reward for Western Storm, who've backed their younger players. Scrivens will get at least one here. The fielder coming in from the deep square leg boundary. A lot of ground to cover, but it's Fran Wilson, so even though the throws eluded keeper Katie Jones, it's still just going to be the single. But they've backed their young players, they've given them these opportunities, and they're really making big strides. Not just the likes of Gibson and Filer, who've made their England debuts already. Now, nicely bowled there. All that can be done with that one by Griffith is just pushing it back up the pitch.
Yeah, I think it's a really good point. I think the academy set up at Storm is really reaping the benefits now. We're starting to see people coming through, and considering that Western Storm area covers such a wide base, it's really good to see people coming from different parts of the country and coming through and being able to play for Storm. Yeah,
I think that's a great point in terms of the variety of parts of the region on show. It's nicely played by Griffith up towards mid-on. There'll be a shy at the stumps from Filer, who then leans forward onto the turf. Rather amusing fashion. End of the over, 4 runs have come from the first. I think Claire might have to make the announcement for who's bowling the second over rather than checking her phone.
Should we confess that she's got a sticky sweet in her mouth at the moment?
Oh, right. It was good timing then.
It's nearly gone.
So, looks as if it's going to be Phoebe Graham to open the bowling. This, at the moment, is due to be her last game for Western Storm of this loan spell, which ends when the 100 starts, this being the last game before that competition for the Western Storm. And then we get another little dose of Rachael Heyhoe Flint Trophy matches in September. Very tall Phoebe Graham, extracts good bounce, has pace, get the ball to move as well. And just tucked into the leg side, first ball. Sophie Luff has got the towel out there. One thing to keep an eye on will be the Duckworth-Lewis par score, because it is a little bit sort of brooding, the sky at the moment. It doesn't hopefully look as if it's going to rain imminently. We can still see the hill over there, but that par score after 10 overs in particular, when we have an official match, is going to be an important number. And of course it will change depending on how many wickets down Sunrisers are.
So it's really going to be important for Storm to see if they can pick up at least one wicket in this first period of the power play.
Scrivens drives, picks out extra cover. Sophia Smale, another one of those players who's come right through that Storm Academy and really impressed in the 100 last year. Of course, went on to win the competition with the Oval Invincibles. I'm sure she can't wait to get back involved with that setup. Oh, trying the ramp is Scrivens, and she ends up pretty much towing the wide line outside the off stump.
Yeah, that was an interesting bowl to try and play that shot to, I think.
Have a look and see how early she went. Not very early,
No.
but tried to adjust and play kind of reverse flick. Didn't get any bat on it. Watching Kate Cross, says Claire Jenkins. This is cut away powerfully through the offside. And even though there's a big sprint on from the fielder, Lauren Filer from mid-off, not getting there, 4 runs.
That was very nicely played. Just went onto the back foot and stroked it nicely through there.
Yeah, she's really strong through that offside. Is Scrivens, excellent cutter of the ball, driver, but she's got the power to muscle it leg side as well. Don't get me wrong, tremendous player. Not going to be too long before she's making her full England debut as well. Cut and a miss this time though, as the Wasp goes on the attack again round the marquee. Oh, it's right behind you, looking at the bin now. What are you going to do with it? Oh Lord, you've made it angry now.
That'll keep us on our toes.
So last ball of the second over. Scrivens, pardon me. Scrivens, who's that? Scrivens can't get the timing on it. And it's 5 runs then off Graham's first over. So although no wickets down, Sunrisers finding themselves a little bit behind the 8 ball, but there's still a lot of time to go. And I guess 156 off 20 overs. Yeah, still not that bad an equation.
No, Grace Scrivens' intent is quite clear for all to see. The way she's shaped up to play those shots, she's not looking to take lots of singles, I think we can safely say.
It's got really gloomy now, very dark, but the good news is there's a tiny bit of blue behind this lot. Gibson with a ball wide of off stump, and Griffith is having a good smirk towards Danny Gibson. I don't know whether it was because of the fact it didn't quite bounce as much as she was expecting, or just saying, well, you got away with a bit of width there. Another tweet from Mike Turner. Thanks very much for that. Playing her 50th match today for Danny Gibson.
Well done, Danny Gibson.
That's neatly played. Back at a square on the offside. They'll think about 2. Griffith is very quick, and she'll get there. She's one of the quicker runners between the wickets out there, Griffith. I mean, I built up her fielding, and of course she did drop that catch earlier on. That's what usually tends to happen when we build somebody up, but yeah.
Yeah, she's just looking there to use the pace from Gibson as she was bowling.
I missed that because the pillar's right in the way, but there was a signal of 1 short from the umpire. So there we go. I said she's quick between the wickets. She's too quick. Tried to turn too quickly. Cut away in the air. Caught. What a catch that is. Fran Wilson at backward point.
She took off there, went to a left, two-handed, took the catch. Excellent catch, and one that we've seen Fran Wilson take many times before, but excellent catch.
Claire's back on the PA duties, but it wasn't exactly how Danny Gibson would have drawn it up, I don't think. But when you've got a fielder like Wilson at backward point, you know that if it goes anywhere near her, she's going to get a hand to it at least. And, well, it wasn't too far off that incredible catch she took at Chelmsford in an ODI against the West Indies a few years back. One of the best catches you'll ever see, that one.
Yeah, I was just trying to remember which match that was, and I can remember that. So yes, it's definitely in the Wilson playbook.
I just moved so beautifully for him. But she took one earlier on this season against South East Stars, which she just took together such a big compilation of Fran Wilson catches. And I think that one, in fact, the one against the South East Stars might have been even better than that one, but that was incredible, flying quickly. And we have Jodie Grucock coming out to the middle. So 2 left-handers out there. Western Storm are a little short on the left-handers front.
Fran Wilson, I think it's great anticipation that she's anticipating what the batsman's going to do and getting her weight in the right position.
Down the leg side, that will be wided. She's making real stride forwards this season, is Jodie Grucock. And in a situation here where they've lost an experienced player in some ways at the other end, you feel that Grace Scrivens is already an experienced player despite her tender age.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if she switches her role at all now, Grace Scrivens.
Well, that'll be wided again.
Yes, I think the 2 left-handers are possibly just throwing the bowler here.
Yeah, I mean, again, there is the slope. Gibson, I guess Gibson probably would have played here at various points. Of course, she ended up playing for Cricket Wales as well as for Gloucestershire. This is cut, but straight to mid-off.
Sounded nice off the bat, but didn't quite get between those 2 fielders out there.
I guess, of course, though, I'm forgetting that when she played here, she'd probably been playing on the other square.
I was just thinking that it could either have been
but,
on...
you know, would have played in the game last year, of course. It's going to be a 3rd wide of the over. Yeah, I guess even if you've played at a ground once before, it still takes time to get used to it again after best part, well, a year.
I think you do. I'll continue in a second.
Bat on ball this time. Work for Wilson at deep backward square. She's been busy, whether it be infield or outfield so far, and limits it to 1.
And it's also about which stripper you're on any particular pitch as well, because each of those will have their own particular characteristics.
You're asking way too much of me to try and remember which of the pitches it was last year. Again, finding that gap on the leg side, but straight to deep square. So, albeit she wouldn't be thrilled with the 3 wides in the over, it's still not an expensive one. And Sunrisers haven't got away here, 15 for 1. And of course, as I mentioned, that 1 wicket will have just bumped up that Duckworth-Lewis requirement just a little bit. It's saying 28, if my eyesight's not deceiving me, so I'm guessing that will be for the end of the next over.
I believe so, yes. Yes, we've got a nod here from our analyst next door.
So, Graham. No changes of bowling yet for Western Storm. It's nice to see some attack, I guess. Keeping those seamers going early on. Low full toss, knocked down at extra cover. Terrific work there from Danny Gibson. Fresh off the over.
No, it was a good stop. That was on its way for 4 if she'd not got in the way of that one.
And there's a few drops of rain. Oh dear. I still don't think it's going to last that long. Hopefully they'll be able to stick it out and play through it. It's a shout for leg before wicket, which was turned down immediately by Ant Harris as he was looking off towards the leg side. I don't think, judging by her facial expression, that Phoebe Graham believes that that was as far off as umpire Harris thought. Swinging down the leg side, I think.
I think the swing was given the benefit of the doubt there.
Yeah, I think were it not for the swing, it's hit her on the full in front of leg, but yeah. But again, can't pierce the offside field.
That's Danny Gibson again. Seems to be everywhere at the moment.
Yeah, well, this has got to be one of, I would imagine, with Graham, with Filer, with Gibson, one of the quicker attacks going round in the regional setup with those three playing. I suppose we could persuade Phoebe Graham to stay on. Ramp, she's got it this time, but there is a fielder down at deep third who should cut it off. And we'll keep it down to 2.
You know, I don't think Kate Cross would ever have thought we would be describing shots as cross-like shots, but that was.
Yeah, well, Kate Cross hit the first 6 in the 100. Mustn't forget that fact as well. This is banged in this time by Graham. Scrivens looking about towards the umpires, hoping for some sort of a reprieve as far as a wide or no ball, but not getting it.
No, the umpires just signalled that that's the one for the over, I think.
Good bumper.
Yeah.
And there is just enough pace in the pitch. It's not a quick pitch, but it's not so slow that the bouncers are doing nothing. It's a grunt from Phoebe Graham as she releases that ball with effort and sees it go basically nowhere. 2 overs for 8 from her. Sunrisers are 19 for 1, and that required run rate has just crept up towards about 8.2 runs an over.
Yeah, that's the end of the power play, so the fielders will now go out to their normal positions.
Well spotted. I could try and blag it, but I had actually forgotten about that. I was back in kind of 6 over mode.
That's why you do this double-handed.
Yes, it would also have helped if I could have seen the umpire make the power play signal. But we've got a change of bowling.
Oh.
So we've got spin for the first time. Looks as if it'll be Sophia Smale coming into the attack. Time for a check and see whether Western Storm spinners can extract some joy out of this surface. Grace Scrivens 4 overs for 27 and Maddie Villiers 5 overs for 38. Not bad figures, but no wickets falling to the spinners in Storm's innings. They played them really nicely.
They did. I think, though, we had... I've got her written down here, actually. I should know this, but Surin Karma. Didn't she pick up a couple of wickets?
Yeah, well, medium pace, I think, rather than spin.
Yeah, OK.
Smale then over the wicket with her left arm. Oh, bowled!
Oh.
Straight through her first ball. And Jodie Grucock, who went back to a ball which she thought she could pull away. She's not the first batter to get trapped like that. Danny Gibson was out in fairly similar circumstances. Maybe a little bottom edge there, but pretty much straight through. Well bowled by Sophia Smale. So 2 down now. Sunrisers are in some trouble here.
Yeah, that one was a good one. It looked like it just sort of snuck under the bat. So perhaps it came through slightly quicker than she was expecting.
So who do you want for a situation like this? I'd imagine that Danae van Niekerk is quite a good name to pick for somebody coming out where you need to accelerate, but also you can't afford to lose many more wickets. I mean, see how that Duckworth-Lewis just jumps up at 1 wicket and it's gone up by 11 runs. It's harsh, is Duckworth-Lewis, Stern, all of them. They're all harsh. harsh people.
Yes, and mainly designed to give us in cricket something to talk about, isn't it? About whether it works just as well for men and women, and it takes relative account of wickets and runs.
Yeah, well, that is a really good point, because and actually one of the classic examples of Duckworth-Lewis as far as the women's game goes, I think, was that Ireland versus India match in the recent T20 World Cup, where Ireland nearly won it on Duckworth-Lewis, but India would have said, well, you've sort of assumed that there are another 2 or 3 All-Prendergasts to come, and there weren't. So Van Niekerk, and just respectfully defending first ball.
Yes, I mean, I think you've potentially in men's cricket, you've perhaps got those big number 7, 6, 7, 8s coming in, who are the ones who are much more likely to hit it around, possibly in the women's game.
Oh, reverse sweep, that's beautifully played. There's nobody at short third, and the outfield is going to hold it up a little bit, but it's going to get there. Lovely shot from Van Niekerk, and there's confidence for you.
That was a classy shot, because she actually had to adjust her foot there because she hadn't gone quite where she intended, but she still managed to play the shot successfully. Excellent.
Oval Invincibles bragging rights at play here. Captain versus youngster.
Do they know each other's secrets on the pitch?
Having a long discussion here, Sophie Luff and
Yeah.
Sophia Smale, about what to do with the field. Do they put somebody else backward or square on the offside? The answer is no. They're just going to move the field a little bit finer there. Well bowled by Smale. Not bowling too slowly. Not much time for Van Niekerk to line it up.
No width at all on that one.
Just gone for the big heave that time, and I think is that another Q end?
I think it nearly was. I think if she'd hit it, we'd have been catching that one.
Gosh, don't start on that. I was nearly hit the other day in the championship, for goodness sake.
We're not that far away from the wicket here, are we?
This is pulled hard into the leg side. There's nobody there. It's right into the gap. I think it's just gone all the way. So the second 6 of the day, and that means 10 runs off that over despite the wicket. And after 5 Sunrisers, 29 for 2.
Again, that was a shot full of intent. She'd spotted the shorter side of the wicket over here and went for it.
I did wonder if Claire wanted to come back on commentary. I think she's quite happy doing the PA, to be honest. Well, at the moment, she's going to be sorely disappointed as far as hoping for some more changes of bowling to announce, because it's going to be Graham to bowl her 3rd over in a row. Thankfully, I think the rain's passed through.
Yes, I think so. It's looking a little bit brighter again.
It wasn't much, only a few drops. I think if we were playing with a red ball rather than with the white ball, we might be in a bit of a spot of bother. It was driven really hard, and then the ball almost ricocheted onto the stumps.
That's a great stop there by the bowler. I think she might feel that one.
Grief, that was hit hard. It's probably the hardest hit ball all day, because it's right for shin, and then it almost ricocheted off Van Niekerk and onto the stumps. Fortunately, she was back in her ground. It wouldn't be the first time we've seen ball ricochet off the non-striker and go onto the stumps. Scrivens has swatted this one away. It's going right towards us. And we have a terrific view of that marvellous piece of fielding from Niamh Holland around the boundary. She is such a good boundary rider. It was right from, I think, her first game in Western Storm colours, which was the first Storm game. You could see how good she was around that boundary.
Yeah, she just suddenly appeared in our view across the marquee and stopped that well, complete with a roll. There's another fielder coming out here now.
Yes, Nevy. Glad to hear the nicknames are as imaginative in the women's game as they are in the men's. Drilled up to mid-off. But Storm are going on the attack here because they've got Filer in several steps off that 25-yard circle.
really keeping that circle in tight to keep all the runs down.
Scriven's looking to drive, picks out cover. Oh, hello. It's a little bit too much mustard on that one.
Yeah, they're the ones that keepers hate, when they remember you're not a particularly tall keeper.
Testing out Katie Jones, who's behind the stumps for this one. She made her Storm debut earlier on this season against Blaze, but it wasn't behind the stumps. She was in the outfield for that one. Slightly awkward there on the half volley at extra cover, but not for Danny Gibson.
No, it's being really interesting at the moment, looking at who the next generation of wicket keepers are going to be coming through after Amy Jones. Sort of keeping a keen eye on what's happening around the sort of regional matches.
Yeah, and then you've got to balance, I guess, the runs versus keeping ability, as well as so often with selecting keepers. Slower ball, and Dab just past backward point. No, they decide not to take the single. And that is the end of the 6th over. So Graham has bowled superbly in this opening spell. 3 overs for 10, that is all.
Excellent. Do you think the loan is likely to be extended?
Well, I imagine if Storm had their way, it might well be, because she'd provide marvellous cover for Lauren Filer when she goes off on England duty in future seasons. Although, of course, one of the huge sadnesses of next year's calendar is that there's no test match at the moment. I don't know whether one's been offered and refused to either Pakistan or New Zealand, or whether it hasn't been offered.
No, traditionally New Zealand haven't been that keen.
I wouldn't like to say such things myself, but
no.
Smale continuing. This is hammered but straight to cover. Oh, that's taken a hideous bounce off that pitch end there, but there's good backing up from Graham.
I think if you look at it from a player's perspective, I can't imagine any player not wanting to play in a test match for their country. But equally, I can understand that the logistics are difficult.
Yeah, I mean, I think we talked about it last time. Certainly I was doing a Storm game. Susie Bates has gone her entire career without playing a test match. It's just such a travesty. Flat-footed drive from Van Niekerk. All she can do is stroke it to mid-off.
I think so, because test matches, I do believe players see that as the pinnacle of their cricket careers.
She's gone for the big hit into the leg side, and it slams into the advertising board on the bounce this time. But again, Van Niekerk targeting that soft area between square leg and wide mid-wicket.
She's been a little bit short on runs, has Dane recently, so it's sort of interesting to see how she gets on today.
She's gone for it again, bottom edge out into the leg side, and Jones alert to get there. So an important last ball coming up here with just 4 runs off the first 5. High up into the sky. Fielder trying to get back, but I don't think she'll get there. Just lobs over the head of Filer, and they will scramble back for a couple of runs. So 6 runs off that one, 7 gone now, and it's 37 for 2. Claire Jenkins is standing up, so I think that means it's time for a commentary change. After a few more words from Carol, it will be Claire.
That DLS par score is still looking quite challenging at the moment. Sunrisers on 37 for 2. The DLS par score is showing us 55, so they've got some work to do to catch up with that. But the bowling has been very tight. I think we might be about to see a change of bowler now.
It's
We
heading towards the microphone. He's desperate to do one of these.
There we go. He was at the other end of the marquee, but he's arriving now. Lauren Filer, I believe, coming on to bowl for her first over today.
Lauren Filer, yes, as Ed mentioned earlier. Proper tucked up Elise Perry, that first ball. I think that was a complete shock. I think it was a shock to the umpire as well, that first ball. It's coming in from the college lawn end. Ooh, goodness me, that's quick. It's quick, side on.
Oh, I'm glad you and I are in here, Claire.
Yes, not facing that. And no ball.
It's been called as a no ball, so just slightly overstretching
I'm
there.
going to get a bonus ball there. Ooh. It's at some speed.
It's interesting
difficult to
watching her
spot that.
side on, because she takes a little bit while to get going in her stride, and all the momentum seems to be built up in the second half.
Yeah, it's very elbowy and
Yeah.
distinctive run as Scrivens plays that beautifully through long on. That's going to be 4 runs. Grace Scriven does well there, because that's coming in at some speed to play that low along the carpet. No risk.
No.
4 runs to the total.
The faster they come, the faster they go.
Well, there's a cliche klaxon going off.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you've done it now. The score moves on to 42 for 2.
Is that a good or a bad thing? Are we?
Well, I don't know. But it can be quite loud when it goes off.
We could do cliche bingo.
Yeah. Oh, bangs that one as well. And Grace Scrivens is going to do... Oh, I can do that again. Serve me that. I'm going to play that again. Thanks very much. And Sunrisers move on to 46 for 2. Into the 15th over. No, 15 to go. What am I thinking? Into the 8th over. I'm all upside down looking at that scoreboard.
Got a little bit of adjustment in the field now to try and cover that shot.
Yeah, Danny Gibson's just having a quick word.
Yeah.
She's obviously got a bit of inside information about Grace Scrivens, do you think?
It sounds like
Possibly. Yeah. Great, as the guys mentioned earlier, to see local talent break into the England side, and Lauren Filer completely justifying the selection in the Ashes. Oh, and that's snicked. It's going down towards the boundary, but there's a fielder there who cuts it off. They only get 1 off that. And, I don't think that Grace Scrivens knew where that ball was going necessarily. I'm going to get a replay in a minute. That was coming down at some speed. Just snicked it.
Yeah,
and actually, Katie Jones did quite well there, didn't she? She went towards it.
Yeah.
It was coming at speed though.
She needed sort of a deep slip, if there was such a thing, to have taken
A
that
fly
one.
slip.
That's
Fly
the
slip.
one. That's the
Yeah.
one.
47 for 2. Van Neerkerk to face Lauren Filer.
I wonder if she's seen. She probably won't have faced her before, but
Yeah.
I'm presumably tipped off by her teammates.
Yeah, should have been watching footage, no doubt. Oh, not quite sure what to do with that. Had a bit of a waft at it, and they're going to get through for a bye, I suspect.
I think it's a wide.
It's
Yeah.
a wide. It's a wide, because we can't see the depth of focus here because we're side onto this. So that's another one to the total. A wide, 49 for 2, heading towards that first milestone. Carol, 50.
Indeed. 1 to go.
Yep. Scrivens to face this time. She's on 21 off the 24 balls she's faced.
And I think.
Van Neerkerk raced to 16 off 11.
Yeah.
Filer off the long run. Right arm over. Scrivens takes a big swing at that and puts that through the cover region. There's a fielder there who's going to cut that off. They just get the 1. And is that the 50 up?
Yes.
I think 50 for 2. Sunrisers 50 up.
7.4 overs, 32 minutes.
Yeah, 7.4 overs, 32 minutes. Ed could have done that. Could have done that on the mic. He's having a rest. Filer. 2 Van Neerkerk. Oh, there's that thump and an appeal, and it goes to short square. And I think Anne Harris is going to give this as a leg bye. He is. Just another one to the total. 51 for 2.
There's a brief bit of excitement from the Storm there. They
Yeah.
wondered about the LBW appeal, but umpire was on that quickly.
It was a good pad thump noise from side on. Ant Harris not interested. Lauren Filet into Scrivens. Shapes to play it into the leg side, but then just misses it completely. This time's that one. And that's the end of the over.
Yeah, I'd like to see that one from end on because keeper moved across a good couple of steps there. So whether it's just swinging away a little bit.
We'll just wait and see if we get a replay. 51 for 2 after 8 overs are Sunrisers. They need 166 to win. The DLS says 61, so they're 10 behind the DLS at the moment. It's kind of a cut par score. It's a reflection of how many wickets down you are and how many runs you've got to get. So it's a fairly mysterious and dark and mystic art. But the computer does it for the scorers, I think, so I'll be glad of that.
Yes, I think somebody was delivering the DLS computer earlier today.
I thought it was the milk tray man, and I told Sue Drinkwater that. But she said it wasn't the milk tray man, it was the DLS machine.
Alex Griffiths.
Oh, Ed's so happy about that. Alex Griffiths coming on from the Chapel End. And Danny van Niekerk is going to face this. Goes back and just defends that down. Sort of almost dismissively, I'm not going to play that, that's too good.
Yeah.
Too close to my stumps. Of course, Danny van Niekerk got 44 off 34 balls against the Stars, so she's coming off the back. I know they haven't played for a couple of games, but the last game she did get some runs. Griffiths into van Niekerk, who just dobs that into the offside, almost toying with the field there, and they get an easy single.
That was a jank shot.
Drop and run, 52 for 2. Yes, not known for my cavalier batting. More suited to multi-day cricket, which I never got to play.
We just played some of our games as though they were.
We were team players, weren't we, Carol?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what you were saying earlier. Yes. Holding an end down, which is another cliche going off. Oh, it's a klaxon. Scrivens is looking around the field. She's looking for those gaps.
Do you know, I think this is a route we don't want to take because this is riven with klaxons.
Yeah. There's a discussion between Sophie Luff and Alex Griffiths about where to bowl this to Grace Scrivens. Scrivens wailing about, plays that through cover point. Is there a fielder there? Yes, there's a fielder just going to cut that off. Danny Gibson picks that up. That lovely skippy field back in. One more to the total. 53 for 2.
Danny Gibson's getting everywhere.
She is. She's everywhere. She's everywhere. Griffiths took a couple of wickets then last game, including a caught and bowl for Bouchier, so no mean feat. As Danny van Niekerk plays that towards the cow corner region, but again, Danny Gibson, as you say, omnipresent, picks the ball up and fields that back. 2 runs to the total, 54 for 2. Yeah, Griffiths got a couple of wickets, 2 for 35 in the last game against the Stars. Vipers, right.
Ooh.
Straight to point, but there was no run there.
Ball bobbled just around in front of the fielder there, but she recovered quickly and got it in.
Getting a bit of noise from the crowd now, aren't we? They're sort of huddled under the various canopies, but we have got a crowd in here, which you can't see from the live streams. That's played into the offside. I assume there's a fielder there. Yes, and Danny Gibson. Of course, how silly of me, Danny Gibson down there, fielding that ball back. And so we've got 9 overs gone, 55 for 2 are Sunrisers. And this is a Rachael Heyhoe Flint Trophy. It's normally 50 overs, but we have a shortened game because of the rain. 22 overs game between these two sides. I'll be glad to get a game. Sunrisers lost their last 2 to weather. And you're listening to Claire Jenkins, Carol Camino, and you will also hear the voice of Ed Seaborn on the Gloucestershire YouTube for Western Storm. Ed wants to announce something, I can tell. He's got that look in his eye, that glint. Change of bowler glint in his eye.
We're just seeing them trying to sort the field out now.
I think we've got Chloe Skelton coming on, have we? Looks like Chloe Skelton. Sophie Loft resetting the field. Phoebe Graham getting sent to short third, I think. Chloe Skelton. She took a wicket against the Vipers. And a catch. She got Ella McCacken out. Who's one of their openers. Skelton to Scrivens, who plays that through cover point, and they get through for a single. Just at a saunter. Easy single there, and of course it's a left and right, which is messes with the fielders' heads and the bowler, because the bowler has to think about refocusing where they're pitching the ball, and the field have to change. Left and right-handed batters. Jennifer Neerkirk on 18 off 15. Grace Scrivens off on 25 off 30. Jennifer Neerkirk, former captain of South Africa. And Grace Scrivens, current under 19 England captain. Skelton comes in. Jennifer Neerkirk launches that in the air. It's going to go into a gap, I think, just bouncing, unfortunately, in front of the fielder. And they get through for a single. She got hold of that and it went up in the air quite a while, and then just plugged in the ground and made that pretty easy for the long on fielder to tidy that up.
Yes, we thought there was a chance there for a moment.
Yeah, as it went up in the air. Scrivens this time to face. Comes forward again and plays that up into the air, this time with a left-handed batter, and again it bounces a couple of times into Fran Wilson, and they get through for a single. Left and right-hander, and the green arrows, or not the red arrows, the green arrows reposition themselves. Van Neerkirk up in the air again. I think probably over the fielder again. They're going to have to do some running here. It's not going to reach the boundary, so they get through for 2. Another 2 to the total. 60 for 2.
It looks like they've seen the change of bowler and decided this is the one to try and have a go for, but they've just not quite got hold of it at the moment.
Yeah. Got to time it right. They're getting underneath it and they put it into a gap, and that's just tickled into a sort of gully region for an easy single for Jennifer Neerkirk. 61 for 2.
I think they're the sort of shots where experience often shows.
Yeah.
She'd know they'd be expecting her to go for it again, but she just tickled it down there.
Yep, having played those 2 big shots, and just a tickle, just to play with the fielders' heads.
Rotate the strike, get the left-hander
Rotate
on
the
there.
strike, yep. A bit of okey cokey. In, out. Skelton to Scrivens, who comes forward and just pushes that nicely into the leg side, and they get through for a single. So it's starting to get some momentum. As you say, they probably decided they were going to have a go at Chloe Skelton there. And so Sunrisers are 62 for 2 off 10 overs.
Which does, of course, mean we have a match now.
We have a match. Well done. Great spot.
Thanks, Ed.
Yeah, so in the Rachael Heyhoe Flint, you have to have 10 overs each to make a game. So we're going to have a result one way or another. And at the moment, should there be a rain break, Duckworth Lewis Stern says that Sunrisers should be at 73, but they're actually at 62. So they've got some work to do. They want to get ahead of that Duckworth Lewis Stern just in case we have another cloudburst or something naughty.
Yeah, we'll have to get you after this over, Claire, to give your.
I'll give you the formula, and you can work the numbers out for me as Griffiths comes in to Scrivens, who just plays that forwards, but they're going to get through for a single there, almost burgle, because it went underneath the fielder. Just pushed into the leg side there by Grace Scrivens. Yes, captain of the under-19s, who beat Australia in the semi-final to play India in the final of the first ever women's ICC under-19 World Cup. And clearly if she carries on, destined for greatness, hopefully, from England's point of view, as Danny van Niekerk plays that towards the cow corner, but I suspect that Danny Gibson's down there, although I can't see because that corner's invisible to us through the marquee wall, unfortunately.
Yes, the invisible cow corner.
Yes, the invisible cow corner. Griffiths, this time into Grace Scrivens. Right arm over to left-handed batter. Takes a big wind up. Oh, and there's a shy at the stumps from the fielder there. Obviously trying to keep Danny van Niekerk in her crease there.
Yeah, just trying to keep them on their toes, I think. Not taking any liberties.
Which is great. And that shows that, the confidence, the intent from the youth policy that Western Storm has, which is good. Griffiths into Scrivens, who plays that straight to the cover fielder, who again has a shot at the stumps. They're obviously trying to have a go at Danny van Niekerk here, but I think they would know that she would be a prize wicket. Well, either of these two, but Danny van Niekerk is, as you say, wily, and if you're Western Storm, you want the wily batter out, or the wily Griffiths into Scrivens. Plays that straight to the fielder at short, mid-on, I guess.
This has been good over for Storm. They're having trouble getting Griffiths away.
Yeah, as Danny van Niekerk and Grace Scrivens exchange a few words. Just not in the sense that they're having an argument, just they're exchanging just pleasantries. Tactics, no doubt.
Yeah.
Griffiths to Scrivens. Reverses. Oh, straight past the fielder. And she's taken the sting out of it. And Danny Gibson, again, or where she's come from, other than invisible cow corner, running round even at and almost field that one as well. I think Western Storm will think that was a chance. But another one to the total. 66 for 2 off 11 overs. What do you reckon, Carol? Was that a chance?
I think it went
pillar.
very hard. I think she had a good effort, but she just wasn't quite there on the catch. But certainly going in the right direction. We're just waiting. I haven't had a replay of that one yet to see just how close it was.
I'm playing peekaboo around the curtains. I didn't quite see all of that ball as it came in our direction, but not visible to me.
So we're at the halfway stage.
Oh, halfway. You can do the calculations now.
Okay.
Double plus 20,
142.
66. Right, well, it's not going to be enough, is it? They need more than that. Skelton to Danny van Niekerk launches that into the air. It's going to be into another gap as fielders running round. I think it's going to plug as a big dive. Oh, it's a great bit of fielding on the rope there from Fran Wilson, who manages to haul that in and prevent the third run or the fourth run even. Third and fourth, really.
Yeah, I
got through for 2.
I don't know if it's a little bit more damp around the edges, around the rope, because it does seem to be plugging a little bit out there.
Sort of feels damp in the air, like it's holding the ball in. 68 for 2 are Sunrisers into the 12th over. Then if van Niekerk plays that into the leg side and just trots through, and they get another one to the total. 69 for 2. 50 partnership. Scrivens 20, van Niekerk 26 off 44 balls and half an hour, but it feels like they're trying to wind this up if they possibly can. Well, they've still got lots of deliveries left as Skelton comes into Scrivens, who rocks backwards and plays that through cover, and that's nicely fielded. There's a shy at the stump, at the stump.
And do you know who that was?
It's Danny Gibson, yes. It's Danny Gibson. Of course it's Danny Gibson. I prepared for a game that I think was we couldn't get through at Millfield, and Danny Gibson had done just about everything in that game that I prepared for. Oh! Caught and bowled. Oh my goodness me. How did she do that? Danny van Niekerk really ripped into that. Took a hold of that, took a big chunk of that. We got an Olay from Ant Harris who has to leap out of the way, but actually didn't need to because that was a brilliant caught and bowl from Chloe Skelton.
That was.
If you're going to be out to a really good catch. That's van Niekerk out for 26 runs, caught bowl Skelton.
Superb. She managed to get both hands across to her right. Van Niekerk is going off very slowly,
plodding off like how could she take that?
I don't
catch?
quite believe this. It's one of those ones. She's
do not believe it.
Yeah.
Maddie Villiers, she's saying don't put it anywhere near that bowler because she can take a really good catch. Oh goodness, I felt it. Yes, like ow. I felt the ouch from here.
Or was that a game-changing moment?
Oh, it could be a game-changing moment. That's a good spot there, Carol. It was a great catch from Chloe Skelton, and one of those ones that inspires the fielders as well.
It inspires the fielders. The opposition have just lost their captain.
Yes. We talked about that it would be both of them are valued wickets, obviously, but you want to take the cricket brains of Danny van Niekerk out of the equation if you can. If you're Western Storm.
But Maddie Villiers is an experienced cricketer.
Yes, also wily.
Also played for England.
Yeah. Great fielder, great all-rounder. Did well in has done well in the various 100 competitions as well. So a right and a left-handed combination still for Sunrisers as Maddie Villiers wallops that one to long on. There's a fielder there. Fran Wilson just gets that, and they go through for a single. Goodness. So Sunrisers find themselves 71 for 3, and we've got the last ball of the 12th over. They've got a lot of work to do here to get some more runs. Grace Scrivens plays that through cover point. There's a fielder there. They'll just get 1 to the total.
Good.
72 for 3 off 12 overs.
It's great when something like that catch happens because you can hear the reaction from the crowd. It may not be a big crowd.
There's a gasp.
But yeah,
I can feel a gasp from here.
Absolutely. And it lifts them as well. So yeah, and I think it's showing this is going to be a competitive game, but Sunrisers are going to have to probably shift into a slightly different gear now.
Well, it makes it great for the neutrals, doesn't it? Because really, as you say, Sunrisers have got to go for this now. Because both teams will want to go, because they're about to go. This is the very last game of the sort of first half, if you like, ish, of the Rachael Heyhoe Flint Trophy. So it breaks now for the 100, and they come back in September. First time this season that they're going to play home and away. So we've got the kind of second half after the 100 as Griffiths comes in to Scrivens, comes forward. Oh, plays that past the bowler, who does a spectacular dive, and they get through for a single. 73 for 3.
This feels like a key partnership now. I don't know, but I'm guessing that this is Grace Scrivens now has had 33 or 40 balls, which is probably a scoring rate she'd like to up.
Yep.
And if she can build a partnership now with Maddie Villiers, that would give them a good.
And Maddie Villiers is
chance.
quick between the wickets, isn't she? So there's chance for quick twos and quick singles, etc. As Maddie Villiers plays that to long on, and they get through for a single. 74 for 3. Coming to the middle point of the 13th over. Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch now because they're going to have to hit out a little bit. And it's going to be down to how well can Danny Gibson field, Western Storm field, and giving somebody else a chance there. Look, playing to short third, and just a single there. 75 for 3. Halfway through the 13th. Yes, how well can Western Storm bowl and field now? Because they're at the moment it feels like they're on the up here.
Yeah.
The balance is in favour of Western Storm. What can Sunrisers do in response? Maddie Villiers plays that through long on again, and they get through for a single. So rotating the strike quite neatly, getting Scrivens on to strike because she's the in batter. But as you say, I think Grace Scrivens will want to be up in that strike rate a little bit. 34 or 41 now.
If you remember the first over, she started very aggressively.
Yeah, and she's had to be a bit calmer because there's been losses. That's a reverse sweep, and it's going towards the boundary, and I don't think the fielder's going to get it. She's going to try. Sophie Love. Oh, Captain Fantastic just needed about 20 more yards there to catch that one. 4 more runs to the total. 80 for 3.
That would have had to have been extremely fantastic, I think.
She put the afterburners on. I could see that from side on, but another 20 yards should have hauled that in.
Yeah, that was very well placed.
Yep.
It was played with control, but in a good position. Little field change coming round now.
Yeah, they're going to have to be smart about the field now, aren't they?
Yeah, there's another one coming round to where that went.
Yeah, because Grace Scrivens is starting to look more settled here, and well, she's about to have to do that tee off, and she's played that into the leg side. I think about 2, but not for very long. I'll tell you the thing that bothers me, Carol. It bothers me. Scrivens runs blind. She dunks her bat and turns the wrong way, and it drives me mad, particularly in a young player. She needs to be watching something, not turning blind. Anyway, it's the end of the over. 13 overs gone, 81 for 3. What do you reckon, Carol?
Well, I think Sunrisers are up against it now. I think they really... So we're going to need to see some fireworks in the next 2 or 3 overs, really. Because if we don't, it'll just be too much to do at the end.
Yeah.
And the way Storm have been bowling, they've been pretty accurate. We had a few wides early on, but both the slower bowlers and the quicker ones have really kept things nice and tight.
I think they're... Yes, and what batting they've got left as Grace Scrivens reverses that and nearly plays it on or to the wicketkeeper or something nasty, and there is no run.
It was almost an attempted stumping. I don't think she left her crease there, but...
Yes, there was several dismissals in play there. Ooh, he called it. And that is Grace Scrivens smacking her bat into her pads, and Carol called it a stumping. So there was a bit of a practice the ball before.
Yeah.
And we're going to see the replay now. She comes forward, dancey, oopsie. Dancey, oops. Scrivens goes for 39, stumped Jones, bowled Skelton.
As stumpings go, I would say that was pretty routine.
Yeah, she went right down the wicket, didn't she? She waltzed past that one. Doing the right thing, because she'd got to be hitting out a bit more. 81 for 4 are Sunrisers.
Grace Scrivens was stumped by Katie Jones off the bowling of Chloe Skelton for 39.
There we are then.
Yeah, they've changed it to court now.
Court. All right then. Caught or stumped.
Correction, dismissal was caught.
See now, camera guy's happy now because Ed's had to go correction in the style of the chap who usually does it. We're having to multitask. Oh, as Joe Ibbotson nearly goes Tatars on some sort of, I think it must be an old stump hole or something. So Sunrisers find themselves 81 for 4. Run to the 14th over of 22 in a rain-shortened Rachael Heyhoe Flint Trophy game. This is Sunrisers, who are kind of the southeast corner regional team, playing Western Storm, who are the West Country's side. So yes,
that was a classic keeper dismissal where you get the stumping and you take the catch just to make sure.
Yeah, let's just cover it all. Belt and braces, as they say. Skelton into Eva Graves, just taking a stance, tapping a bat. Plays backwards and just dobs that into the leg side. They're going to get through for a single.
Yeah, I think she was looking for the 2 there, but
Yeah,
probably
she
just
was.
put a little bit too much weight on it.
I think, Villiers was like, no, not fancying that much. 82 for 4, halfway through the 14th.
2 new batsmen here.
Yeah, 2 new batters.
Oh, you're quite
I'm
right.
Fine you. That's into the leg side. Going to get through for a single. 83 for 4. Oh. Right. Skelton to Eva Gray. Plays that beautifully through the point region. I suspect that it isn't Danny Gibson, before you say. It's a different fielder. Just for the single there.
Yeah, Danny switched sides. It's over the other side now, I think.
Which side? Skelton. This time into Maddie Villiers. Crouching. Comes forward. Oh, smacks that into the long on. That's past Fran Wilson. No one's getting that. That's 4 runs. 4 runs to Maddie Villiers. Sunrisers move to 88 for 4.
That was a lovely shot. She actually lined it up, took the steps, came up the wicket, and away it went.
Yep. That was a really nice... That's a sort of... It's very Maddie Villiers playbook, isn't it?
Mm.
She plays that beautiful long straight drive. So Villiers moves to 8 off the 5 balls she's faced. Eva Gray, a run a ball 2. At the end of the over. So 88 for 4 off 14 overs.
And that DLS score, although it won't come into play, is just giving it as an indication that they are quite far behind now.
Yeah.
106 is the DLS par score.
Yeah. So
18.
mhm. Danny Gibson. Indeed, the ever-present, as Carol pointed out, the ever-present Danny Gibson is about to give us some deliveries. In. Eva Gray just covers that one, and there is no run.
Good to see Jones, the keeper, standing up to this, keeping the batsman more in her crease.
Yeah. Well, she's got a whiff now of having done a stumping catch. There may be more to come. Gibson, right arm over. Right. Oh, it's launched into the air. It's going towards the cow corner. Corner. And it's gone for 6. Big 6 there. Well, that will take some pressure off, potentially. Eve Gray with a huge heave over cow corner, and the fielder just can only watch it go over her head and into the changing rooms for the players there, bouncing rather scarily on the concrete as Gibson comes in again. She takes a big sweet swipe at that, and it's just edge, but it's going to go over the boundary, I think. Yeah, there's another 4. So that's 10 in 2 balls. That's a quick way to do it, isn't it, Carol?
That's one way to move along quickly, yes.
And Sunrisers are edging towards that, literally edging after that last shot. 98 for 4. So tithering on the edge of that century are Sunrisers.
Yeah.
They need 166. And they've got 7.5 overs as Gibson comes in to Eve Gray, who just drop and run into the offside. Just the one. 99 for 4. Approaching the end of the 15th over. And there's a chat in the middle now. Eva Gray and Maddie Villiers.
Bit of encouragement there.
Bit of encouragement, bit of look, I can hit 10 in 2 balls. Let's get on with it. Gibson into Villiers, who plays that to square, almost hockey style, just for the single. It's almost a bit of like a short corner drag there from
Pass to left wing.
a pass to left wing, and that's the 100 up for Sunrisers. The Sunrisers get their 100 off 14.5 overs, and in 61 minutes. I think they were half an hour to 50, weren't they? So keeping to time there as Gibson serves another ball which goes underneath the fielder at cover, unfortunately, for Western Storm, and they get through for a single. 101 for 4, and that's the end of the 15th over. Villiers on 9, and Gray has gone through and is now on 14 off 7. So
we're looking at the worm on screen there, and you can just see they've never quite caught up with the rate.
no, but it's taken a little bit of an upturn looking at that worm.
Well,
that's right.
That over will have helped.
Duckworth Lewis Stern is on 113, so they're 12 behind that at this stage.
Pull back a little bit on that one.
And we've got Skelton to Gray. Tries to play that backward of square and just covers it, and I think we're going to get a bye there, aren't we, or a wide. They're getting through for 2 runs. What's Ant Harris going to signal? Must have got some bat on that one. 2 runs to the total. 103 for 4 into the 16th over of this 22 over game. Rain shortened game. Should be 50, but the rain was a bit naughty this morning. So that's played to cover point, and they get through for a single. 104 for 4.
I think it's actually looking like it's the nicest part of the day at the moment here.
So Sunrisers need 62 to win. Running out of deliveries. Comes forward. That's a beautiful shot from Maddie Villiers, and it is dropped, I'm afraid, on the ring. But that would have been a really good catch, and Specky's only, I think. It was hit lustily, and they get through for a single.
She almost looked like she did just about everything right, but just didn't.
Just that last.
It didn't quite stick.
No, and it is probably quite greasy out there with the wet ball, etc. As that's played too long on, they get through for a single. 106 for 4. Approaching the end of the 16th over. Skelton. Oh, it's up in the air again. Into a gap again. And Fran Wilson comes around that to field that back in, and they only get a single off that one. So that's 107 for 4. 1 ball left of the 16th. Eva Gray on 18 off her 10 balls. Villiers off 11 off her 8. Skelton coming over to Eva Gray. Rocks backwards and plays that through the point region. They're getting 1. Just the 1. 108 for 4. And that's the end of the 16th over. 108 for 4. Our Sunrisers chasing the Western Storms. Total of 165, so they need 166. They need 58 runs, I think it is, quite a long way away. 58 runs to win, and 6 overs to get them in. So the balance is definitely in Western Storm's favour at the moment. And she's just bringing in I think there's going to be a change of bowling for Ed, because he loves to do these announcements. Alex Griffiths coming on from the college end. Chapel end. Alex Griffiths then. And Gray will be facing this first one.
Right. Hello again.
Hello. Welcome back.
We've got Alex Griffiths returning after a brief break.
Oh,
and
somebody
smashed high in the air. And that surely is going all the way.
Yeah.
And in fact, it's 4.
4, but it's
in our blind spot, I'm afraid, so we can't really see where it went.
Invisible cow.
It looked as if it had enough on it to go for 6, but apparently not quite.
I think she must have found a corner there that, I was going to say little, it isn't little, it's big. A big corner there where I think it's possibly a bounce and...
It's gone a little bit straighter than I thought it had. I thought it was going to clear the square boundary over where towards the players are, but actually... It went a little bit straighter than that, over towards what is slightly longer in the corners, Cheltenham.
Yeah.
This is hit up into the air, but I think it's going to be safe again. And 1 bounce into the fielder's hands. They want 2. No, they don't.
Ooh.
And
Do you know who it is?
Danny Gibson has far too good an arm to take on.
She's down there again. We're only laughing because it feels like Danny Gibson's been fielding every single ball.
Yeah, well, they put her in the hot zones, as they say. Gun fielder.
Oh, that might be slight klaxon going off.
I just thought I'd set it off, really. It's cued back to the bowler. But these two have really done well, actually, because I thought losing Scrivens and Van Niekerk in relatively quick succession, I thought there might be it's needed Gray coming out and playing the way that she has. She seems to be middling everything.
I know.
Not just the 6 and the 4 that she hit early on.
Ooh.
Again, this is bashed down the ground towards mid-off, but it's hit too hard, really.
That's very typical of Villiers. She kind of goes down on one knee and really smacks the ball. It's sort of, it's not hockey style, but it's very distinct for Maddie Villiers, isn't it? She just goes down and really wallops it.
Well, it's what they need, really, a bit of walloping, as the required run rate's going to hit 10 very soon.
But as you say, it could have been a wobble, but they've come in and really had a go. They're making a game of this.
And they've still got batting to come as well. It's heaved leg side, but not the connection that Villiers was after. Should just be the one. Not the friendliest throw from Niamh Holland that time. She just apologises to Katie Jones there.
I don't think Carol would have gone like double teapot for that one, but would have given you a good Paddington stare for that. Yeah, and it indicated where the gloves were, and that was where she was hoping that the throw would be.
Yes, I do like it when keepers do that. They
Like,
point out
this is
exactly
my
where their
gloves.
gloves are.
Yeah.
Right. Where else did I think they were supposed to be? The last ball of this over from Griffiths. Oh, it's not going to be.
beamer.
It's well knocked down by
No.
Katie Jones, actually, so it's 1-1 as far as the waist-high no balls are concerned. That one far more dangerous, has to be said, than the one in the first innings from Maksud. And so that changes things considerably. The no ball and then the free hit.
Eva Gray had a go at that. Whoa.
Gosh, I mean, she's almost self-protection type thing, really.
She might have knocked it onto her helmet if she's not been careful.
Yeah, it was heading towards her head. It was a really nasty one from
Lacrosse.
Griffiths.
Lacrosse
Totally
styling.
unintentional. So what can she do with this free hit?
Oh, bit
She's
of
going to go
funk.
for the paddle. Well, I suppose a free hit's not a bad time to do it, but at the same time, it's a dot. And now, actually, that means that last ball's worked out not too badly.
No.
So 115 for 4. And there are 5 overs left, 51 required. It's getting down to crunch time.
Yeah, crunchy crunch time. It is proper crunchy crunch time.
So what are they going to do with their bowlers here? Because again, they've got a lot of options. Nobody's bowled through their 5 yet, so even
Haven't
Griffiths or Skelton could have another.
They only used Filer for that one over, didn't they? I
Yeah.
wonder if she's been told to, what they call it, reduce her workload, like basically bowl less. I don't know.
No.
Why-
Anyway, it's
why
going to be
she- why
Smale
she
for
done it
now.
Yeah. So, Smale from this end, I think she swapped ends, hasn't she? Swapped
She has, and
ends?
of course, one of us needed to go and do the PA there.
Oh,
So it's the first, I knew this was going to happen at some point.
you can't resist. He's got to go off and do that. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful PA. Smale to Gray. Taps her bat in anticipation. Comes forward, plays that into the air, again into a gap to Fran Wilson at long on, and they just get the one. So it's a good lusty blow, but it's only 1 run, so kind of feels sort of wasted effort. Not wasted effort, but you know what I mean. A good thump, and then they're only getting a 1 out of it. Smale comes in, and that's swept at by Villiers, and they get through for 1. Is that going to be?
I think it was wided.
It's a wide, so they ran and a wide. A couple of more runs to the total. 119 for 4 into the 18th over. Running out of deliveries here. 4.4 overs left as that goes into the air, but again into a gap, spinning towards that boundary on the far side from us, and they're going to take 2 runs. There's a bit of a shy, but they do get through for the 2 runs. Pretty quick between the wickets here.
I think they
And,
have just done a marvellous job, haven't they? I mean, they've got
They're
the run
trying,
rate is
aren't they? Really
up
trying.
at 10, but it's not out of hand, and they're basically scoring at that kind of rate.
Yeah, 121 for 4 as Eva Gray plays a beautiful textbook defence there.
You do like your straight shots, don't you?
Well, you know,
Classical,
it's classical, isn't it?
as
I
they
like
say.
all of it, really, but you know, it's classical. And that's in the air again, and it's going towards a fielder, and it's, as Carol points out, guess who? Danny Gibson. This gives Ed another chance to go on the microphone again. Does he get to come
Well,
on?
I'm
Get
almost
your
thinking
job,
it
multitasking.
might be tempted to do it like that.
But that-
Danny Gibson. I don't think that would
Danny
go down
Gibson.
too well, to be honest.
No, we shouldn't make bait like that. But Danny Gibson, bless her, she's been all round the field. She must have covered every single blade of grass here, and now she's been rewarded with a catch. And it was a good catch because she had to sort of skid a bit underneath it to get her body underneath it, and make sure she got a nice clean catch there. So Sunrisers are 121 for 5. Last ball of the 18th over. Looks like Amara Carr coming out to bat, I think. Is it? I'm going to get confirmation in a minute. We're waiting for her to turn her back to us so we can see a number. It's the wicket-keeper Amara Carr coming into bat with Danny Villiers. Maddie Villiers.
Did you just say Daddy Villiers?
Yes, silly Clary. I've got so many. There's so many Dannys. And Danny Gibson. There's too many Dannys.
Daddy Villiers.
Danny Villiers. Yes, Carr to face. Tries to sweep and there's a big thump. And it's given. LBW, first ball. Well, Smale strikes again. It was a really loud... I mean, we're sideways on, so we've no idea how close that was. But it was a really loud thump. And it was just below the knee roll, looking at the replay there. So I'm afraid Sunrisers, couple of quick wickets there. 121 for 6. Suddenly, 18 overs gone. That's the end of the over.
Well, could that be the key moment in the game? Just as Sunrisers seem to have things under control, 2-2, which means Smale will have to wait until her next over for the hat-trick ball.
Oh, yes. As Ed goes to do his multitasking now, he's going to hear him on a PA. Another wicket falls. Yep, she was. Morikar was. LBW to Sophia Smale. That's the end of over. Flo Miller. This is she's recent. I think it's this year. She's got her contract. Yes, new contract this year. Northants.
Yeah, she's been one of the consistently top performers in county cricket for the Northants team.
Yeah. Oh, he's going again. And this looks like Danny Gibson returning from the... Yeah, Danny Gibson, the chapel end. To Villiers, who rocks back but then plays it characteristically off her knees over the fielder. Is it going to carry? Is it going to carry? Is it going to carry? Yes, that's 4 runs. Very Villiers-esque, that shot. Down on one knee, 4 runs.
Yeah, gets into a really low position, which means you can just lever the ball up and over the infield. And again, just as Storm seemed to wrestle control back, Villiers hits that boundary.
123 for 6.
She's gone after that wide one, chopped it away. I don't think they're going to be able to get 2 here. Smale with that left-handed throw as well made it even less likely. She didn't have to run across her body to get that throw in.
So I think Western Storm are a smelling victory here, aren't they? It's just sort of whiffing their nostrils. And
as if now a lot does depend on Villiers, whereas before it was very much Villiers plus.
Yeah, partnerships.
But Miller's got a big chance here to make a name for herself, and that's going to be a wide, so that will help things a little bit. 41 needed off 22.
Yep. Bonus ball as well. Probably another one.
Yeah, but she has bowled a few wides today as Danny Gibson, but did get that early wicket of Cordelia Griffiths to that astonishing catch from Wilson. And this time, that's going to be okay.
Because Danny Gibson, in terms of the PCA, the Professional Cricketers Association, most valuable player in terms of bowling in domestic cricket, she's at 6 in that top 10, so fully justifying her England call-up during the Ashes.
A swing and a miss from Miller. I think the scoreboard is just doing a little bit of correcting, because I'm pretty sure that first ball of the over went for 4, and there we go. So it's now 39 needed off 20. I was hesitant a little bit because both systems were saying the first ball went for 2. I thought I was seeing things, but it did go for 4. And another Yorker length delivery from Gibson outside the off stump, and another swing and a miss.
Because what's really impressed me about Gibson this year, because we saw it early in the season, didn't we? Sophie Love was injured. Danny Gibson stood up, batted, bowled, fielded, and really inspired the team.
Yeah.
In the absence of Captain Fantastic.
Last ball of the over. She's got that Yorker again. And Katie Jones actually had a bit of a shot at the stumps there, but that is 4 dot balls to end that over. So 39 required by Sunrisers from the last 3 overs. They have 7 wickets this season for Gibson, I think, coming into this. I'm not sure whether that's updated or not, but the economy rate is extraordinary. I mean, before this game, she was going at under 4 runs per over.
Wow. And yeah, and that's great. I'm really pleased that she's reached that milestone as well, because we saw some clapping as they were warming up. We thought maybe there was a cap being presented, but actually I think it was literally that marking that 50th match for Danny Gibson. So she follows Sophie Luff and Fran Wilson into that. At the moment, a very select group there as Villiers faces the possible hat-trick ball. It's in the air, but it's going to go into a gap. It's heading towards the boundary. That's another 4. Another 4 to the total, as you say. Maddie Villiers feels like the key here.
This is also a big over for Skelton, who actually loves Cheltenham. Got the 5 for last time out here against South East Stars. She's picked up 2 wickets already here, but this is a key over against Villiers especially.
Yeah. Villiers comes forward. Oh, and that's a catch.
Yep, Sophia Smale.
Yes. I was just dodging round the curtain there. Having just said that it was going to be key that Villiers stayed in. She was doing the right thing, trying to launch one, but unfortunately straight to the hands of Sophia Smale off Skelton's bowling. So Villiers goes for 22, and Ed is going to do the PA. Okay. I was holding off so that we can hear you on the mic. So we're going to see Suren Kumar coming into bat now. So a lot will rest on these two shoulders here, because they need 35 off 16 balls. That's going to be a big ask, I think.
Yeah.
Although Suren Kumar, I think I was watching her the other day. Nice batter. So what is she going to get served from Chloe Skelton? Right arm over, right-handed. Suren Kumar comes forward, tries to play that through the offside, but only succeeds in dobbing on its head, and there is no run. So another ball is chewed up.
She's got that bravery to throw it up, doesn't she, Skelton, and bowl it nice and slow.
That's played to the cover fielder, who unfortunately misses fielding that, but they just get the one run. 132 for 7.
I think it might have been quite hard to affect that run out anyway. They were so committed to the one, even though it went straight to the fielder. She knew she had to be so quick for the pick up and throw.
It would have been hard, yeah. Skelton into Milo, comes forward and plays that to mid-on, but straight to mid-on, literally, and there is no run.
Yeah, it's another big part of Smale's game, her athleticism on the infield, especially.
She's not letting anything go past that, and she, Skelton, and that's played through mid-wicket, deep mid-wicket. So anybody out there? She's going to get 4 for that. That's 4 runs. That'll be a very handy 4 runs from Flo Miller there. Score is 136 for 7.
Nicely played. I mean, she got that foot right across to the offside.
She did. To
dragged
sweep
it
that
from outside the off stump. Really good connection.
Found a gap down the hill. So, end of the over. 20 overs gone. 136 for 7 are Sunrisers. They need 166. So, 12 balls remaining and 30 runs to get.
So a key difference between the two sides has been the spinners, because you mentioned no wickets falling to Sunrisers spinners, whereas both Smale and Skelton have picked up 3 wickets each. So Gibson also then will be the other bowler to have her 5.
Yep.
And so she'll bowl the penultimate over. And another Yorker. This is just magnificent death bowling from Danny Gibson. She's had the slower ball working so well since the start of the season. I remember her bowling. Was it the first game I covered this season? I think it was at Cardiff.
The game
the game that Orla Prendergast hit that astonishing century. And it's actually a low full toss that time, and it gets underneath Jones. I think it's just going to be, in fact, no, it was just bottom edged, so
left.
it is single. But this is the thing, actually, you find this if with a lot of death bowlers, if they just miss, oh, there we go, there is a bye signalled. I didn't think there was a bottom edge on that. But if they just miss their Yorker by a bit, the best death bowlers get away with those low full tosses.
Yeah. Particularly perhaps at the tail end. Not so much tail end because these girls can bat. But
they're going to come back for a second run here. This could be tight with a hit. In fact, I think Surin Kumar would have gone, but Gibson, recognising she didn't have enough time to whip the bails off, so just hoped the ball would hit the stumps. It went over the top of them, whether it was wide as well. But they're having to chance things here late on with the running between the wickets because it's 3 a ball needed now.
Yep.
Despite that couple of runs.
Needing 9 off 27.
Sophie Luff up for a chat. Still important to make sure that you get these field placings right, even though there are 2 young batters out there and that rate is climbing.
These points are going to be key as well to Western Storm when they want to be climbing that table, don't they? So.
Yep, I mean, it's a match-up between the 2 sides at the bottom, but they know they'll get themselves off bottom with a win. Will Western Storm. Drilled up to mid-off. It's going to be a shy here as well.
Ooh.
It hits, but I think she's home.
No.
Quickly run by Miller. Sunrisers, I think, with a potential bonus point win, could have leaped up 2 places with this, with the win here today, but doesn't look as if it's to be, barring a bit of a miracle at this point. Desperately need at least 1 boundary off this last couple of deliveries.
Need 8 off 26.
Drag leg side. Griffiths won't get there, so they might think about 2 again. Off balance throw. That's well judged by the 2 batters out there. But 24 needed off 7 now. They've got to clear the boundaries, and it's hard
They're
at this
trying, aren't
stage.
they? I mean, they are flinging a bat at this. Isn't? I mentioned the phrase tail ender. They aren't. You know, that's the thing you'll see the women's regional stuff. There aren't many tail enders, as such. They can't all bat.
That's going to be
Possibly from
wide-ed.
Lauren Bell, who I have to say looks like a tail ender. Bless her. She's a great bowler. She needs to work on her batting. That's the best way to describe it.
Well, they did say on air a few times, calling Kate Cross tail ender, and then of course, you know,
She batted brilliantly.
there's always time. Oh, it was a bottom edge. That will do as far as Sunrisers are concerned. It's not going to be stopped. So it's 4 runs. Doesn't matter how they come. And 19 will be required then from the final over. It's a tall order, but that boundary again just about keeps things alive. Who's going to get the last one? It could be any one of 3. Filer's just bowled the 1. Smale has got the hat-trick ball still to come, has she not?
No, she bowled the. Didn't she bowl the over in the middle? Oh,
it's the hat-trick ball. It is then going to be Smale to bowl the last over. Big responsibility, but to be honest, I couldn't remember whether she bowled another one in between.
I thought she had as well.
It's
but
been so long ago.
Oh, that's right. That's right. There was a change of bowler. Let's change of bowler. Quick head. Smale back on again. So this is the hat-trick ball. And on a hat-trick ball. So 6 balls. What can Sunrisers get to? It's a big ask. They've got 6 balls remaining. They need 19 runs. Big swing. Goes into the air. Into a gap, but Fran Wilson's diving that. Stop that. It's not going to allow a boundary there, and they get through for 2.
That was superb fielding. I mean, I thought it was probably
missed that, and it's going for 4.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, and it's not easy fielding in that part of the ground with a slope there.
No, another big swing through square, but there is a fielder there who cuts that off easily. A nice long barrier there, just the 1 run.
4 a ball.
That's their 150 up, Sunrisers. In 21.2 overs, 88 minutes for that that next 50. So they've speeded up that run rate in terms of timing. Smale to Suran Kumar, who plays that to third, and there is a fielder running after it. They're going to run at least 2, and she's coming back for a third. That's great running there. 3 runs. Come on then, Ed. Woo!
Well, what are we looking at?
We've got
3 fours to tie.
Yeah. Oh, we got a super over. Ooh, super over.
We don't get a super over.
Oh no, we don't.
Afraid.
In the group stage, we don't get a super over, do we? So they need 13 off 3. Smale to Miller, who comes forward and plays that again to the sort of third region. Again, that same fielder is running after that ball. Is he going to reach the boundary? I'm waiting for a rope. Yes, a rope jump there. It's another 4, keeping the game alive. It could be a tie, couldn't it? Of course.
Could be, or it could still be a win.
It could still be, yes.
9
we want to keep this
from
interesting.
2.
Yeah.
And Western Storm will not want to have happen what happened in a T20 match at Chelmsford.
Oh, I was there. Oh,
yeah,
yes, that last
you know
one.
the one I mean.
Yes, that game.
They got
Yes.
5, I think it was, off the
Sunrisers,
last ball.
Yeah. So, yeah, balls remaining 2, runs to win 9. These two teams have taken it to the brink before. And that's played down towards the mid-wicket boundary.
They've got to come back.
Now. They've got to come back. They're coming back. Is that to 2?
So Western Storm cannot lose this game, but
Oh.
it will need to be a 6 to tie off the last ball. We have had a thriller here at Cheltenham, which is great for the crowd who've stuck around. They've had a long time to wait for this game to get underway today.
Huddled under marquees in the distance. Can they get 6 for the last ball? Big finish. She goes for it. Oh, and she gets stumped. She had to go for that. So, you know, that's doing the right thing there. Flo Miller taking a big swing at that. We're going to see the replay now. Smale left arm round. Takes a big swing, doing the right thing, but then is stumped. So Miller is out for 16. Stumps Jones, bowled Smale. And that's the end of the game. So Sunrisers end up on 159 for 8. It was a valiant chase, particularly towards the end, and there were some good partnerships, and they recovered from various wickets that fell in the middle. They did well to take it that close. Maddie Villiers playing a key role there, and yes, closer than it should have been from Western Storm's point of view, but Sunrisers find themselves on the losing side by 7 runs.
6 runs.
Oh, 6 runs, yeah, runs to win. That's
Indeed.
Right. The other way around, yeah.
However, it doesn't matter, because as far as
It's a
Western
win.
Storm are concerned,
It's a win.
they've won and they've kept alive their 100% record as far as the Sunrisers in the Rachael Heyhoe Flint Trophy goes. It feels as
great
though this
stat.
was
Great
a
stat.
Charlotte Edwards Cup match just because of the length of it, but they still have yet to lose to the Sunrisers in the 50 over format in inverted commas, but a terrific effort, I think, from the Sunrisers lower order to get them that close, because when those wickets fell in quick succession, they lost a couple early. They lost Scrivens and Van Niekerk, and a lot felt as if it depended on Maddie Villiers, but actually Eva Gray, 27 from 19, 2 fours and a 6, and Flo Miller and Suran Kumar at the end there have done a terrific job to get them as close as they did when really all seemed to be lost, and to have a chance to get some points off the last ball of the match. I think they'll be pleased with their efforts as far as the lower order are concerned. I did feel at halfway that Storm had maybe got enough. I didn't think it was a sort of total which had absolutely put the game to bed, but it seemed like a decent total given the fact that conditions out there won't be particularly easy. The ground is large in places. You've got a fairly slow outfield as well, which I think held a couple of balls up, but for both sides as well. Yep. And overall, Western Storm will be really pleased to have got that victory. And it does mean that they will move off the bottom of the table. They'll move on to 16 points. It's their second Rachael Heyhoe Flint Trophy win of the season. Of course, they've been absolutely blighted by the weather. 4 no results out of their 10 matches, which haven't helped, including one game in particular, which they were right on course to win, and the rain scuppered them. So that is the break then in the Rachael Heyhoe Flint Trophy. We've got the 100 to look forward to.
We have.
So the majority of these players will all be heading off to their various 100 sides, and the best of luck to all of them for that competition. We'll look forward to watching all of them there.
When they come back after the break, Ed, they've got to play each other again, but the other way around. So that's the fixture. So when they come back on the 5th of September, Sunrisers play Western Storm at Radlett.
At Radlett.
Yeah.
Well, that'll
So
be
they're
an
playing again.
experience for everybody involved.
I haven't been to Radlett, but yeah, I gather it's...
Yes. Anyway,
okay.
we'll gloss over that. So, thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much to Claire Jenkins, to Carol Camino, and
On
to
her debut.
James Healy, who's been operating
Cameraman.
the cameras with
Camera
his
guy.
usual aplomb away to our right-hand side. We'll leave you with the news that Western Storm have won this match by 6 runs. From myself, Ed Seaborn, it is goodbye. We'll speak to you again soon as far as Western Storm go. And the next match of the Cheltenham Festival, Gloucestershire versus Worcestershire in the County Championship in 2 days' time. Do join us for that. Thanks very much again, and goodbye.